all our friends, and they can have my things when we're dead. But we gonna live forever. We gonna live forever.
Welcome. The Boyscast. We got Alex Stein coming in the studio later, and we're gonna see if he can rap. You know, you come in the Dragon's Den, you gotta lay it down. That's the format they always have the rap shows.
Yeah. They put you on the spot. They go, "Is he got it?"
Yeah, if he's got it, he got it. We'll see what you got. At the end of it, they always seem to say
the only difference is we don't have 40 guys just like sitting over here.
They never say they don't got it at the end of it.
Yeah.
I feel like the nature is healing a little bit in the sense that one of my people that I went to college with that's been posting pretty aggressive stuff online. Recently, I saw them post online that they found the Guinness Book of Records was just involved. They found the world's biggest bee. So that's
it's just back to just fucking basic shit.
Yeah.
It's no more like all the politics. They're just going back to.
They went
Look
from
at his bee.
Well, 4 years ago, or for 4 years straight, this person was like, "Hey, this is why we need to stand up. Everyone needs to stay inside." And then now there's like, pretty big bee, huh?
There we go. That's good.
Also, the mental illness video back to back with the Will Smith one. I was getting a lot of people. It really is right now. The whole thing is don't make fun of my thing, which has always been kind of the case. Like, you know, polio is not okay to make fun of. It's like, well, why? Because my grandma has
My grandmother, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Whereas this one, the mental illness thing, some people were, well, not some, a lot. It was not as much as the Will Smith, but it was a lot of people hating it, being like, yo, some things are not okay to joke about, and mental illness is one of them.
Yeah, because people made mental illness their identity. Like, nobody really makes polio. Even if you had polio, you go, well, I'm in a wheelchair. And you go, why are you in a wheelchair? And you go, because of polio.
But people would say that about trans stuff. People would say that about cancer. People would say that about
identity.
fatness, it seems like.
That's an identity.
Yeah, so I guess identities, anyone that's identity is not. But it was like, I was getting a lot of people being like, it's not okay to joke around about mental illness.
Well, because we told people that you go, hey, have you ever considered making that your whole identity? There's one thing about yourself?
Exactly.
You go, I didn't know I could do that. You go,
well,
yeah, because we didn't.
It was that. The reason for it is, you know what I mean? You know why you see like less black people that their whole thing is mental illness is because, you know, it's kind of like a cliche that like every white person's like, I have anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, white people shit, right? And the reason for that is because you go, well, they already have a good shtick being black.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Am I going to fucking throw out black to be have anxiety?
Yeah, right. They have interesting, right? So they go, and if you're white, you obviously the first best is you want to be gay. But if you know, I'm not an interesting race, I'm not an interesting sexuality.
That's a good point, yeah.
What am I?
Yeah.
And you go, anxious.
I
feel weird at parties. So that's why to me, that's like a boring, like a person that doesn't have a good identity trying to come up with one.
Yeah.
That's not good. There was a good, just a headline. We don't have to get into it, but it was Tennessee News, and it says, meet Nashville's Transqueer, Latinx, Neurodivergent, public Theologian.
Whoa, that's a lot of things.
But
pick a lane.
Right. But neurodivergent, like essentially.
Autism.
Yeah, but it can mean a few different things, I think.
I think mostly it's become just, again, it's a thing where you go, hey, like, I can't keep eye contact super long.
Right.
Neurodivergent. Because that's not a thing.
It's sort of a new hot one.
But they want something. They go, I want something. And
Buddy.
Neurodivergent.
I can't believe you said that to me. Do you not know that I'm neuro? Buddy,
I mean, you make fun of this, but there are people who are just going through the fucking Rolodex of identities, being like, nope. I could be that.
Yo, that is not okay. My dad's neuro.
ND.
Oh, or the other way. It's like, no, it's fine. My best friend's neuro. Oh, I have a neuro friend.
I have a neuro friend. I can make fun
of neuro people.
I can make fun of that
my
stuff.
friend's neuro. Twitter had a really good hot take that went viral. Time for my own hot take. As a society, maybe we've just outgrown comedians. Everyone and their grandmother's funny. I've got more laughs off Twitter than watching a set by a comedian. And this went viral. People were like, yeah, a comedian shouldn't exist.
Preach.
Yeah, but it's so funny because it's like, it's like comedy.
What is this in response to?
Oh, Will Smith.
Will Smith. Okay.
Yeah, there was the Chris Rock thing being like maybe Chris Rock
and this is a pro Will Smith.
Yeah, and they are right in the sense of the Oscars probably shouldn't have comedians anymore because Hollywood's definitely
crazy that they're like there's maybe you didn't consider maybe the Oscars shouldn't exist.
Like obviously that more importantly, but you go, it's so fun. It's like imagine you could say this. We go, as a society, we've outgrown DJs, blah blah. But what you really mean is like you don't like them.
Yeah, you don't like them, so we need to. I mean, that's like some real fucking dictator. Totalitarian ideas
comedians.
Where you go, we were like, it's like Pol Pot, or like, we're getting rid of comedians.
I think you're making a pretty good point because you go, that does correspond with a more authoritarian kind of society,
that is
I guess,
super
right?
authoritarian idea to even think that we should go down the path of saying we're going to eliminate.
Now, Saudi Arabia also agrees with that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's like Pol Pot goes, we shouldn't have people with glasses. That was his thing. We're killing everybody who has glasses.
That is
and you're like, you're
true.
not super far off.
But yeah, that's the macro of it. But the micro part is like, yeah, you don't like stand-up comedy, which is fine.
But I also don't even believe that.
People seem to watch it on Netflix. But she goes, no, I get more. She likes a sassy quote tweet better. That's what does it makes her chuckle.
You're
That's
saying
what does her
you don't enjoy like this woman. It's a woman. You go. She doesn't like. She doesn't like a good fucking Amy Schumer bodysuit special. You're trying to tell me that?
I don't think she even likes the Amy Schumer body special.
Nothing.
I think for her, she only likes a good sassy quote tweet of Ted Cruz or someone.
Okay. That's her prerogative, I suppose.
But it's like, I don't like comedy, so no one should be there. And you go, everybody and her grandmother's funny. And it was like, yeah, well, everyone and her grandmother can't do stand-up comedian, and also everyone and her grandmother's not funny.
No. My grandmother's one of the least funny people I've ever met in my life.
Right. That's being like, well, maybe we don't need the NBA. And it'd be like, why? Well, it's like, my buddy plays basketball. Why don't I just go watch him? I actually was just watching my buddy shoot.
Yeah, I was walking home from school, and there was these
kids playing basketball.
Yeah, it's free. Didn't have to pay anything.
Right, exactly.
But the more important thing is this should be a tweet that gets. Was it all quote tweeting dunking? Like, did it go viral dunking?
Half and half. A lot of people agreed.
Yeah, that's the crazier part is that there's people who are like, yes.
Well, that's the thing. You go, yeah, half the people in the world kind of do think that. Yeah.
Like that would have been an idea that normally should have just been, you screamed into the void and ignored.
No, she's getting some heat on
That's crazy to me. That people are saying, yeah.
Well, if you have also, remember we were talking about like, this kind of went viral too, but it's like how a lot of time right now, the most, the biggest podcasters you hear about all, and then Rogan and all these people, right? And then recently, it went viral. The biggest podcaster in the world is a priest.
Preach, praise the Lord.
It's some priest, and he has like 200 million.
And he's a hack.
Like Joe Rogan has like 12 million.
And he's a fucking hack.
What does a hack mean?
He just reads the Bible. It's not even unique. It's not even original content.
You took the words out of my mouth, my friend, because I was watching Righteous Gemstones. It was pretty funny. And
yes, I'll show.
To be honest, it is the best business model in the world. It's the oldest scam in the book. But all you do is basically read. You read
also,
one
this
book.
guy is a fucking hunk. I was like, dude, I saw
the way
this.
he looks. Danny was doing it.
I mean, this
he was
guy
singing some unpure thoughts. Listen to this guy. He needed to read the Bible after listening to this.
I needed Jesus after seeing that thing. But I was saying to you before this, I go like, I've seen this guy on the top of the charts, and I was like, I thought it was something, something else other than it's called that. But then you see this, and then it's like, yeah, it's just this guy.
Well, what's the guy's name?
His name is
he's a Minnesota priest.
He's a Minnesota priest. His name is what is this? I can't find it here.
It is the ultimate scheme.
Yeah.
And you go, the whole thing is you find stuff that people always want forever, and you just read them their favorite. You just read them their favorite book, sort of forever.
Should we do one for the Quran? Should we do a Patreon tier, a super Patreon tier?
Quran-cast. And you just sort of read it to them. That would be huge. Well,
I'm sure it exists.
To me, I was actually having this conversation when you think about comedians. I was saying why I like probably comedy people better than politicians or whatever. I was trying to put my finger on it. Remember whenever that conversation about like DeSantis, and there's a few other people, and I was like, I wasn't articulating it properly. And I was like, this is what I was kind of trying to say, is that what Bible guys do is they essentially take the gospel that exists and then just tell it to people, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what politicians do. Whereas a lot of time the great artists sort of like create energy and create movements, where most of the time politicians, they wait for gospel to sort of exist in pockets and then they sort of read it back to you.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've been to like one church service maybe ever, like in like a wedding or whatever, you know what I mean? But like,
But that's, you mean Christian, you've been to Jewish church.
No, of course, but I don't know.
You don't
I don't know
you're
the
saying
necessarily-
synagogue you've been to tons of.
Of course. But
Well,
I'm saying
that's-
like
what's
in
the difference
synagogue.
there?
Well,
Different
no.
book.
My point is that this is what I still understand this, and I think they're actually the same in this sense, is that you still go to church and they go, here's like a passage that I read, and then here's like a story from real life, and then they editorialize on it. They're not just like, you get there and they go, all right, open your book, we're reading page 1 to 7. They read 1 to 7. They go, all right, I'll see you next week.
Yeah,
he's just
it's like a book club situation.
Yeah, but he's not adding anything. He's just being like, I'm just
this
reading
guy
this.
actually just reads it.
Yes.
What a perfect
That's what
deal.
I'm saying. It's a Bible every day, and he just reads it.
Love this guy.
It's like me reading Harry Potter or something. I'm like, you go, anything to add? And you're like, no. I mean,
Rules.
how are you adding to something that's perfect?
Yeah, right.
No, I have nothing to add.
Yeah, it's the perfect scheme.
This guy's fucking church must be packed.
Oh my god,
Dude, that must be a
that guy goes on the road and
ticket.
does mega churches.
I mean, he might
sold out.
He must be.
All the celebrities are there. Probably Bieber is probably there.
Probably, and it must be hard for him because he probably has to avoid all that stuff. That's all like the sins of the flesh and whatnot. Or
he's a big
proverbially.
star.
Oh, I mean, he is a big star.
No, but or he's underneath that he's actually really in. Like,
I
this
mean,
is
it
all a
would be
scam
funny
for him.
if he's we're in 6 months or a year.
I mean, there's a lot of
going on
priests-
the apology tour because he's been smashing.
That happens all the time,
I know.
especially with those like mega priest
He's like,
celebrities.
God, forgive me the temptations of the flesh.
Well, they have, and yeah,
But the mega priests started as grifters. This guy started as like a lowly.
some of the mega priest guys started out at your local chapel,
Yeah.
and then they worked their
Doing
way up.
The open mic scene, basically.
They were doing basically the open mic scene. They were, yelling on a street corner, and then someone goes, "You got chops, kid!" And before you know it, he's at the Air Canada Center,
Yeah, this is blowing up.
Smoothie Center.
The Smoothie
Smoothie King Center.
Smoothie King Center.
Yeah. Well, they did. Okay, so the this was probably my favorite one of the week was, so this girl opened up this bar that's called a sports bra.
Let's play on words. Good for her.
And what it is, for people who don't know, so they opened a bar that shows only women's sports.
Yep.
Yes.
I'd like to quote the great Chris Rock when I say grand opening, grand closing.
Well, guess what city it's in?
Portland?
It was in Portland.
The dreams of the 90s.
It's sort of getting a lot of play too, so maybe it'll be okay for a second. But basically, he said anyone can find a bar that shows men's sports. But Jenny wanted to change that, so she opened a bar in Portland that only shows women's sports. Also, any dude, it is sort of funny going to the sports bra because the only reason you'd ever be there is to pick up chicks, right?
And it's obviously a lesbian bar.
Right. So, yeah, because you're right. If you are a lesbian bar and you want to watch rugby or whatever, right?
Yeah. The thing is, honestly, I don't know if there's enough like sports.
Well, this is what she said in one of her things. She said 95% of sports coverage are men, right? So she said she wanted to make up for the remaining percentage. But if there aren't any women's sports being broadcasted at the time, they just have the TVs turned off.
Because I was in a bar a couple weeks ago and they were playing the women's national championship.
All right.
And the women's national championship gets played.
Yeah.
You'll have women's Olympics, soccer, World Cup stuff, all women's Olympics. So you have every time the Olympics rolls around, every 2 years for 2 weeks, you have sports
Yeah.
content. Then you have WNBA, which gets decent play in America. And then I think
you have
that's
to.
it.
No, I think they have to be like women's darts. They have to be all
But I'm
sorts of
just saying
wacky
that's not
shit.
televised.
Some-
There is no. I'm talking about stuff
Right.
that is televised.
No, that's her problem. She said she's working with media companies. I'm not sure what that means to try to get more women's sports out there. The sports. She's trying her sports bra fame. She's been.
I mean,
taking
she could
some
set up
meetings.
like a webcam at like a local high school or something.
I guess that's what or that's what you have to do. You have to try to get some
Colleges
feeds.
actually, there are like you can get local college feeds.
You have to get a lot of different feeds.
Field hockey.
She has to try to get
Soccer.
wacky feeds from a bunch of wacky places.
Those
where,
do exist.
where essentially instead of having the NFL game
But
on,
you're not going to be watching professionals.
well, no.
No.
I mean, you aren't either way.
You're on
Isn't that so funny though that she
is-
said it? She's like, they just turned the TVs off. So you go to the sports bra and there's nothing on. They should just play reruns at the very least.
I mean, yeah, YouTube just play WNBA reruns.
Why are the TVs off? Oh, because of the patriarchy, maybe? Have you heard of it? So if you're a dude, you go to the bar and you just like saddle them next to a girl. You're like, women's sports.
Oh man, if you're a guy, you're probably super unwelcome because they know, especially if you're not an overtly gay guy and you show up there being like, yeah, even if you are
nothing I like better than the game.
Say you are like a fan of WNBA, which they exist, and then you show up, they just think you're there to make fun of it. There's no way you're going to be welcome there.
But the best part is that they have TVs off most of the time. You're right though. It's a lesbian bar.
It's a lesbian bar.
Which is fine. And then another one was, so basically the Vice wrote this article, but what was happening was the anti-work Reddit, right? Which we've been sort of talking about. It's pretty funny, right? And there is some sentiment of it where you're just like, yeah, obviously like working sucks or whatever. And people can complain about their boss and whatever, right? Be like, can believe this. Fine. Maybe that Reddit's fine, right? But they basically did anti-work feminism asked women to imagine a life without work. So Vice has gone sort of full circle where they're at a point where they go, women shouldn't be working.
Women should not be working. Should be at home. Basically, Vice went full Ben Shapiro.
The Vice one, yeah. It is legitimately
But they're more in like a utopian thing.
Feminist, conservative boomer. Trad conservatives, women shouldn't be working.
Yeah.
But their reason for women working.
But they want you to still be paid. Women should still be paid. They should just not
I
work.
guess so. But yeah, so they basically saying that, they say intersectionality now. Remember how people said that whole thing was basically communism?
Yeah.
Now they actually just have like communism as one of their things. So they've added it, but they said there's no such thing as working hard when you live under capitalism. So feminism now includes women shouldn't have to work because of capitalism.
Yeah, and this is all from Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian.
So they got
is the
mad
one,
about Kim Kardashian.
This is what set this whole thing off. Is Kim Kardashian
And the other girl from the.
Oh yeah, we talked about it, Molly May.
Yeah, the other girl that was on one of those reality shows, they both did kind of like a Gary V. Kevin Hart thing where it's like, you got 24 hours a day, what are you going to do with it? And dudes are sort of allowed to do that because dudes like that message. But when girls say to their girl audiences, I can work hard, you should work hard, girls get really mad about that message. They don't like that message.
It's a defensiveness.
Yeah, so girls really don't like the message of you should work hard, right?
Yeah. Even though there are, as a whole, for sure. Like, there's obviously are lots who are like, yeah, I'm a fucking...
No, but that stuff doesn't resonate with a female fan base.
No. Yeah. The motivation porn.
Motivation porn is way more of a dude
Their
shit.
motivation porn is, like, it's okay to cry 4 hours a day.
Right.
Like, if that's what gets your engine cranked in the morning, give it a good 4-hour cry.
Yeah, and they said, as countless others agreed, there appeared to be a general consensus. Entrepreneurship and working hard in a capitalist society just isn't possible. And it isn't an equal opportunity venture, which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's not like an equal opportunity venture. I guess the argument was that, like, you can get rich, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love there was like this nurse who goes, would love to invite Kim K and Molly May to do a 12.5-hour shift in the NHS, which is the National Health Service or whatever in the UK, with me so they can tell me if the reason I'm not a millionaire yet is because I'm not working hard enough. And you're like, you're a nurse. Who gets in a nurse to be a millionaire?
Yeah.
You're like, what a nurse makes. They make good livings. But yeah, you're like, there's no nurses who are...
No, that's not the get rich quick scheme.
Yeah. Like, they don't
show
need
your tits, have a sex tape.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, that's not... Like, that, though. You didn't get into nursing for the money.
Well, they're saying, I think that their point is that they should be making as much, you know what I mean? And under a capitalism society, that you should be, I don't know...
well, then how much is the doctor supposed to make?
Well, everyone makes the same, I guess, right?
Oh, they just
want
want
the whole thing.
No, they want a pure communism.
I guess. I don't know what else could you be arguing for?
I don't think they do, though. I think
what does anti-work want then?
I just think they want, I don't know.
Well, it's a premise fundamentally rooted in intersectional feminist politics. And they said, has nothing to do with laziness. It's just anti-work is not against all work per se, but it is critical of work as it currently exists. So they're concerned with abolishing work as a form of exploitation. Anti-work is the foundational premise behind labor movements, unions, and workers' rights.
There's a bit commie vibes.
I guess so. Yeah, but I think you go... there is both, right? You can still say like, hey, yeah, nurses should have unions without saying that like you can't be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, of course. Like, yeah, you're not saying like exploit.
But you are right. You go, if you're listening to someone that this is the point where I guess that's why they don't listen to those girls for that reason. But you're right. If you have a nurse and you're like, hey, I have a nurse, here's my job, whatever. There isn't you're right. Maybe you get up to head nurse or whatever. But why are you listening to people that are kind of, you would never want to listen to someone that's like, you just need to grind harder and make more money. And you're like, no, you just have a job and that's what you do.
Yeah, I have a job. I love what I do. I work. This is my schedule. I like my schedule.
So that
I like
grind
my benefits. There's like, I don't grind.
That
I
grind
work.
message isn't that attractive because it
grinds
doesn't,
is
for
purely like
entrepreneurial spirit.
entrepreneurs. I mean, the point of grind is like, I don't have a boss.
Yeah.
You're like, you are.
I
like,
used to work 8 hours a day and I quit my job. So now I work 18 hours a day.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't want to work 18 hours a day. I like my job and my schedule.
Yeah.
I have a life. And
yeah. Because even if you're right. You're not going to get rich working 12 hours as a nurse.
no, but also you're like,
But-
okay, well, if you want to make $1 million, then what does the doctor make? And then when he starts making
$2 million.
$5 million or whatever, then you're like, well, he makes too much. And then you're like, okay, well, he'll make less, but then you make less.
It sort of goes on forever, right?
Yeah.
I think what their idea is, if you boiled it all down, is they just don't want people to talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't like the rhetoric. It like goes against their rhetoric.
No.
But it's just so funny having a full circle where you're back to girls shouldn't be working. And you go, why? Feminism.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, because Kim Kardashian. So they say, I don't know what any of this has to do with feminism. It sounds like it's kind of like a workers' union type argument. I just don't really understand why. It is this new thing where they kind of really are. They like, oh, feminism's everything. It basically has nothing to do with girls anymore.
I mean, the one thing I will say is really not logical in true female fashion.
Right. There's a lot
of holes here.
I think kind of things that go against each other, right? And the anti-work movement's synonymy with feminist activism was cemented with Kathy Weeks' The Problem with Work, Feminism, Marxism, Anti-Work Policies, which is sort of funny. I don't know why this whole thing just tickles me. The idea of a girl being like writing a book being like the problem with work.
Yeah, the problem with work. This book's $29.99.
Well, you're right, because this person figured out how to be the capitalist thing where they go decide they're going to have their own don't work book business.
Oh, I mean, there's nothing better than anti-capitalism people who make tons of money off of that message. That's one of the greatest.
It's also a fun read, though, right? The Problem with Work, Feminism, Marxism, Anti-Work Politics, and Post-Work Imaginaryism. So that's just one of those ones. Maybe you take your once-a-week vacation to Cuba or something. You just want to sit down on the beach with Feminism, Marxism, Anti-Work Policies, and the Post-Work Imaginatarium.
The Imaginatarium.
In 2011. That's, you know what I mean? You're maybe on the plane. That's just a nice read if you're relaxing after a hard day's work.
I think a lot of these ladies are going to like living or working in the metaverse.
They'll love
That'll
working
be a
in the
fun time.
metaverse.
Just pop on your fucking helmet.
Yeah. So, anyways, that one was funny, and then they also did. They had on HuffPo. They did a big article being like the 22 cities where women earn more than men, and it was just funny to me because they're just like, this is so good that women earn more than men, and you go, well, according to your logic, isn't that bad that it's unequal?
Yeah. Well, they have to pretend that all this stuff's not about revenge. Like, we've said it before, but they go, okay, we need 50%, 50-50, but they don't mean 50-50.
Yeah.
Go, what, so we stop?
It's just
hit
funny.
50-50 stuff and we stop? And they go, no.
Well, anyways.
We want to take over like the boys want to take over.
That was a fun one, though.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Sports bras.
I can't believe, dude, they have 1.8 million fucking subs in there.
Oh, Antiwork's big, dude.
And they call themselves, how every subreddit has a term for them? They call themselves idlers.
Ooh.
1.8 million idlers.
I mean, listen, I get it. If you go to work in a factory and then you're just like, yo, if we get enough people together, what if we could all work less? Like, what if this works and we don't have to work and we get paid money? Why wouldn't you want that?
Yes. I'm also going to say I might be wrong here, but I'm going to guess in terms of actual factory workers in this subreddit, there's going to be pretty close to zero.
So you think it's all people that are kind of college kid graduates or marketers or something?
Yeah. This is not a lot of people who are actually like waking up in the morning at 5 a.m. like punching the like.
Probably not the yeah, you're right, because it has like a feminism undertone.
This is a like blue collar people are not communists.
Yeah, these people hate blue collar people.
Exactly, they have real disdain.
It's sort
for
of an
blue
interesting
collar.
thing that's where it got to, whereas communists like hate blue collar people.
Yes, even though they're supposed to be representing them, you're like, no, there's no blue collar people would be like, yo, fucking, stop dicking around on the subreddit and go work.
There's almost
like, we don't want to.
There's almost no one that kind of, champagne socialist type people hate more than your average guy that works at a steel mill, right?
Absolutely. Like, they're like, yeah, because they don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, okay. So we're going to bring on Alex Stein, and we talked to him for a bit. And then also, we're going to, he's been going around doing these videos rapping. So we want to see if he's got the chops.
The chops.
We got a beat queued up. We got an extra episode every week on the Patreon. We just did our first live stream on the Patreon 2 days ago, which was a huge success. If you want to come over and check out the next one, we're doing those monthly. New episode every Monday. Patreon.com/The Boyscast. Tampa Bay, San Diego, both announced. Go to RyanLongComedy.com for tickets. Fellas merch has also been extended, so RyanLongStore.com.
Felon.
Yes, and without further ado, this is the man, the legend, the Alex, the Stein, Primetime 99. Yeah, you know what it is. We out here, it's the Siphon, Alex Stein in the place to be. We have all killers on here, only gorillas in the place.
No shit.
Boyscast.
It's the Boyscast with your boy Primetime 99. Always gonna grind and shine, blow your mind. Ryan Long with a big dong, Danny Joke. High on the coke, no we ain't broke, and you know that we grinding. It's full time shining, always blow your mind in, always gotta rhyme in. One more time for your little candy ass. I'm the teacher teaching y'all class. This is your bitch hall pass. Go to the bathroom. From the classroom, I'm a vacuum with this mother trucking broom. I'm the truth. This is the proof when I'm up in the booth, cause I'm spitting lots of rhymes, committing lots of crime, all day long with my homie Ryan Long. One more time, always on the grind. Number 99, always blow your mind. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know what it is. On beat. You know what it is. We got the time. Alex Stein with the rhymes.
Primetime 99.
Yo, we go, we flow to the flow. What you know? Get the gat, I'll shoot you in the back with my Biden hat. You know that's the truth, and this is the proof. Now let me hear you say, hell yeah, baby, on the ground.
Hell yeah.
All the time, say it, don't spray it. And let me get the girl, cause you know I'ma lay it. I'ma go doggy style, buck wild, and I'ma make 2 or 3 child. That's how we do it, on the ground all the time. Blow your mind
Making
every
children.
time. Making babies, no rabies. Vaccinate me all at the party. Stick that vaccine in my body. You know I got that Pfizer, cause you know I got that hand sanitizer all up on my dong with Ryan Long.
Dong.
Danny Joke. Still snorting coke. Stop the line.
Cokehead.
One more time. I'm 99. High as a kite. Sniffing all the white. What can I say? I don't care if you are straight or gay. I'ma do it right.
Your choice.
I'ma make it tight. Stick it in
Free
the booty
country.
hole. What can you say? All freaking day. If you are gay. In hot water. Calling your daughter. Watching Danny Jokes. Still snorting coke. Stop it, Danny. Put the plate down. Your face is kind of brown. Let's go. One more time. I'ma say it cause I'm Alex Stein. And you know I always grind and shine. Boyscast. Yes, we got to last. YouTube. Please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We have only killers in the place to be, and you got shots. That's why we bring you into the devil's den. The freestyle devil's den.
Yo, it's like Sway on the beat. This is literally like Sirius XM, guys.
Alex Stein here, National
99.
Enquirer contributor.
Yeah, that is true. Yes, you'll see me in the latest National Enquirer they actually used me, I think.
No, we're
They're
meant to set
using
up,
you.
and he goes, he's on the phone, and he's like, well, that's the thing about Joe Biden. He's a problem. And we go, what are you doing? He goes, I talked to the National Enquirer.
Yeah, I honestly kind of said jokingly. I go, it's like he's doing a hit, and then you were.
I was doing a hit, and it's funny. This is
Well,
why
I like the idea that more so, just anyone who calls you, your mom's like, how are you doing? I hear you're in New York. You're like, this fucking Joe Biden. I'll tell you what.
Well, dude, this is why, though. It's like they say, the Clinton body count, whether you believe that's real or fake. Not a lot of people
Smashes so many girls.
Well, no, that's funny. But nobody wants to talk shit, about the president. So that's what they use me.
About who?
About Joe Biden. I mean,
You
some
don't
people
say.
will. Half the country. Well, everybody says it, but I'm talking about in print. Like, a lot of people don't want to put their name to it because it's going to say my name, my picture.
We were just in Nashville, and we met a few people that would
Yeah,
be fine with their
yeah.
anti-Biden sentiment in print.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but dude, nobody really likes Biden, and that was actually what the hit piece is about. If we're going to be giving some context, so basically, Obama was at the White House yesterday and trolled him.
And this 1,000-pound baby.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be like. And then the alien version of himself actually came out while the real Obama was regenerating in his pod.
Well, say what you will about Obama, but he trolled him and called him the vice president. So did you guys see that?
yeah,
Recently.
Yeah,
yesterday,
yesterday he goes, "Oh yeah, Mr. Vice President," to the sitting president. So that's why it's a big deal.
he called himself. He goes, "I'm vice president."
No, he called
himself.
He called Vice
too.
President Biden. Well, he
But
said the joke
Biden
twice.
called himself. He goes, "I'm the vice president."
That's why, guys.
So what did you say to the Enquirer?
Well, I just told him it's obvious that the reason why they're there is because they don't want him to run at 81 years old. They got to put somebody else in. I mean, like,
but Barry can't come back. 2 terms.
no,
right?
but Michelle can, and
Right.
Michelle can do it. Or
it's a Michelle-oriented play.
It's definitely all day long. And do you guys notice that this is the conspiracy castle? I mean, did you guys see Joan Rivers died right after she said that Michelle Obama was a boy? Did you guys see that?
Oh, you say that's not the move.
Well, I know. Do not say Michelle Obama is a boy.
So if there's no episode of Boyscast next week because we're all dead, you know what happened.
Or worse, she's the third mic.
Yeah. Now that would actually be good.
She's just telling, she's giving fitness advice. And you go, all right, hey, Michelle, what's your fitness advice?
Yeah,
Just be
she loves feeding the kids healthy food, and that's actually why this city is a great city. Eric Adams, plant-based pimping. I'm plant-based, so that's the one thing I like about Eric Adams.
Plant-based.
Plant-based pimping life. Yes, I don't eat any meat. So you guys have a really a cool mayor. Yeah, I like how he eats the vegan chopped cheeses at the bodegas.
Yeah, and they're just like, what? That's
Every
disgusting.
mayor in New York always is on like a big campaign to prove that like they're very New York. You know what I mean? I'm just like you. I ride the subway. I buy stuff at bodegas. Like there'll be 9 campaigns running simultaneously of mayor's candidates trying to buy stuff
Carries
from
a gun.
bodegas.
Well, did you
one guy's like, I'm here. He's me eating a burrito. It's like, oh, here's me eating a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, literally, it's me. Like, oh, well, I'm going to this food truck. Oh, I'm an American.
New York,
citizen.
dude.
Well, did you see? And then him at the club dancing with Cara Delevingne. All
Who?
awkwardly. That model, that Victoria's Secret model.
Eric Adams was doing that?
Yes, with the Cara Delevingne. I don't know how to say her name.
Nice, dude.
Dude, you need to pull it up, look it up. He's like awkwardly dancing in a club, and she's like, chugging a bottle of champagne, clearly high on cocaine. You know what I mean? Like, and he's just sitting there vibing with her. But yeah, I mean, when you become the mayor of New York, and I loved Curtis Sliwa. Are you guys familiar with the guy?
yeah, he's the beret guy. He was
He's
the
nuts.
fucking. You ever see the people walking around with the berets?
No.
Or whatever. Well, they're kind of gone now, though. What are they called? The
Guardian Angels.
Guardian Angels.
But
They
Liz-
started because it's like in the
70s.
In the 70s, because crime was so bad. It was like Gotham City, and so they're like, we're just going to be like a kind of a militia almost.
Okay, you both have to watch a documentary. It's called about Curtis.
You like it
Sliwa.
because he's a cat guy.
Oh, he is a cat guy.
Yeah,
and
he's got 5 cats.
I have toxoplasmosis.
5 cats?
Yes, it's a parasite in their fecal matter from cleaning their litter box. And
Do you actually think you have it?
For sure.
Oh, I
he
do
does,
because
yeah.
it makes you like a cat lady.
It's what Crazy Cat Lady comes
Yeah.
from.
No, I know that, but
Dude, I have 5 cats. I started off with 2, and then like a bunch of people passed away. My mom passed away. I don't want to get all low vibrational, but I got her cats. So, dude, I have all these cats. I rescued a bunch of cats.
is that the secret weapon for the wild videos?
Yeah, you had to have toxoplasmosis.
Dude, he just rips a line of fucking kitty litter right before he goes
and,
into City
literally,
Hall.
guys, I wake up with a cat on my neck. Like the cats lick themselves to clean it. Sometimes I might give it a little lick. I might do a little clean. That's the toxoplasmosis.
Cats have toxic.
Yeah, they have Alex
Steinmosis.
Yes. But yeah, I'm a cat freak. But I'm talking about Curtis Sliwa. The reason why Curtis Lee was funny is like when he started this, he was a vigilante and he got arrested a bunch for being like an idiot vigilante,
Yeah.
like for like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what he got in trouble for.
Vigilante's
Dude,
great.
well, he faked a thing, like, or he faked a mugging that he broke up, like a,
Oh,
yes.
in the 70s?
In the 70s. So somebody really wasn't getting mugged. It was all set up. And he pretended to
Jussie Smollett style.
Yes, exactly. He pretended to be the hero. So obviously the guy's crazy.
Huge move.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah, but when crime got when subway crime kind of picked up in New York, and then the police, because now if you go on the subways, there's police everywhere. You notice that? They're just like every station is full of police. But for a bit there wasn't any, and then just all these guys with berets all of a sudden were just like down there just volunteering.
And they were sort of like volunteer.
They're volunteer
cops.
Yeah.
Well, it was a big one. It's the Bernard Getz. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, but he was like this awkward guy that, when the subway was so dangerous, he had a gun on him and he shot and killed a guy and that was like trying to rob him, and it was just a big court case because who was in the wrong? Like they said that he shouldn't have had a gun and shot him, but at the same time,
he's a politician.
No, he was just like a normal awkward guy that was just trying to protect himself with the gun. But they didn't know because the guy was trying to mug him. He murdered the guy.
Oh, right.
And so that's
right.
why it was a big court case. Because they tried to charge him with murder, and I think Bernard Getz actually ended up going to jail for it for a little bit. But that's kind of where the Guardian Angels got a lot of.
And that was back in the day when
that's
probably
1984.
half of the people here were like half the people in New York were like, good for him, like standing up.
Exactly. That's why the city was just was like.
This is classic. The city was like everybody says like in the 80s, like this place was like a really dangerous, scary city.
And it's funny, guys, because obviously I'm into the conspiracy stuff, but like if you watch Fox News, you would think that everybody in New York City was just smacked on fentanyl and like methamphetamine. It's not that bad. Like literally,
that's everything, dude. I was like,
I know.
I was thinking about that. Just like every place you go, their caricature of what they think the other place. Dude, the amount of times we even hear that about Canada, where you're like, dude, like in Canada, is basically if you like get a cold, you basically wait 4 years to see a doctor.
Yeah, that's what they always say. Well,
in
America should have universal health care, and it's going to be crappy, but dude, it just sucks that like people are paying $5,000 to take an ambulance ride, so they're afraid to call 911, and there's people that have died driving themselves to the hospital.
People
because
say
they can't
like you
afford
take
it.
an Uber to the hospital. You don't
Seriously, dude, can you imagine?
I called an ambulance before I moved here in Canada. It was $45.
Oh my! See, people would love. See, we should have that, and like obviously universal health care will suck, but dude, people shouldn't have to be like calling an Uber Eats driver or whatever to get to the hospital.
Well, so you're doing okay. So the videos where you're like going into town halls and stuff. To me, it's funny because that's become like a genre of YouTube content right now. So you've got like a whole squad now that all does it.
Yeah.
And do you ever, after you do, so, okay, basically for anyone who doesn't know, ALEX STEIN goes into the town hall meetings in like small towns, right? And
well, big towns too, Dallas,
right.
Plano.
But are you running out of places?
Well, kind of, because the only thing is in Mesquite recently, now I'm going after the mayor, like they knew who I was, and when I started speaking, they cut off my microphone and they cut off the video stream. See, the reason why, Danny and I were laughing about it, the reason why it's good is no matter what city it is, Ryan, they have their own stream with their own overlay. So like they do all the production, because they have to videotape it. So that's
that's great, right?
It's so easy to just screen record. You go there.
But so afterwards, and you just leave, right? And then everyone else start doing it. But you ever have awkward things after?
Oh, of course. Well, there's a viral video of me. I spoke in Hawaii, and I like called them a bunch of dumb Hawaiians, and they tripped out. Like they were like, "Oh, this guy."
They were gonna get you.
They
after?
were. Oh my God! They kept calling me like I forget what the person from the American that goes to the island. They have some racist term that they call white people. But what I'm saying is, it went viral, and Fox News. Their local Fox affiliate covered it, and the guy that was running the meeting, and they're like, "What did you think about it?" And the guy's like, "Well, I don't want to give him clout, but yeah, he brought us together, and we ended up getting, they ended up helping the meeting."
Their hatred of Alex.
But Ryan, the reason why is because these people take themselves ultra serious in these meetings. So when
of course.
When you have a
but I just think it's so funny when you do a prank afterwards, and then you have the guy kicking around, but you guys are out of there, like in the car.
Oh yeah, I'm out.
That's the best, dude. We used to have like. We would do these like pranks. I remember we like pranked a bunch of these like old ladies that we found on Craigslist. But then afterwards, they were like sitting in the waiting room, being like, "What just happened?" And we had to be like, "All right, you gotta get out of here, ladies."
Well, okay, so my buddy Cassidy Campbell. So like we'll go.
Yeah, you guys have a whole squad.
Yeah,
of, like,
we do pranks, and the thing is, like most of the time, and whenever we do like a prank in like Walmart, we'll do something stupid. We yell at each other or something. We always tell them after, "Oh, we're joking,"
Yeah,
but sometimes like we don't because it ends so awkwardly. We just can't. Like some people are just so
they'll fight
pissed.
you, or be like, delete it then. Yeah.
So you're just like, oh man.
I love the idea of like the two of them showing up, and then there's like another squad of two guys, like another squad of two
It's
guys.
a prank squad.
But it's like independent, all of each other.
Well, you're talking about the genre, and more people are doing it, and like this, it's hacky. Like, honest to God, what I'm doing is hacky because
it's not though, because nobody was doing it. Like
Well,
I've never
some
really.
Well, it is. Yeah, I guess everything turns into that. Where you
Turns
go,
like airplane food jokes were not hacky at one point,
Yeah,
and then everybody started doing them.
Dude,
and
you're
then
gonna
they
one
became
time
hacky.
show up to a city hall to do a thing. And it's gonna be like three guys before Were you pranking
all
them?
in
Dude, today-
suits, like
Dude,
all
Ryan,
dressed like you, like.
Today there was 5 guys that were trolling the Dallas City Council.
See?
They
Five-
basically can't run these meetings anymore.
Yeah, it's like you ruined the city council.
Well, that's how it should be. I'm telling you,
There's
man.
going to be like an Alex Stein rule that comes in. They go, we need to like change the rules.
Okay, it's kind of funny you say that. So my dad's in the bail bond business. We get people out of
The
jail.
what?
The
Bail
bail
bond?
bail bond business
Oh, bail.
in New
Guys,
York.
is your dad Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Well, kind of, we're good friends with Dog.
know
Yeah,
Dog? Dog?
Yeah, we know Dog
How do you
personally.
know
I got
Dog?
pictures of Dog. I got to pull him up just because my dad's had to hire him in the past to like find.
Wait,
people.
your dad hires them?
hires a bounty hunter because
He must be expensive though. He's a big movie star.
Yeah, but this is back when he was a nobody. But this is how it works.
Before
But
his
he
rates
can't
went
charge
up.
extra for the job of like bounty. Like,
Oh yeah, you can.
does
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
Like he
people
but
want
it's like
clout.
so great. Like
I love how
is
this
he
guy
better?
thinks Dog the Bounty Hunter isn't expensive.
But I'm saying, like, is he so expensive that like he can't be so expensive that it's not worth it?
Well,
yes. Right now, how much? What do you think? If you call up Dog the Bounty Hunter, you somehow get his contact and you go, "Hey, I got a case for you."
Well, I
you go
imagine
track this guy
he
down.
sends some of the other people on it.
Yeah,
Well,
but
then you're not hiring him. He's
program
hiring
is.
Dog himself.
Well,
Like,
and this
well,
is
he's
guy
saying
before Dog had the
before
TV
was
show.
the
But
show.
but now there's other bail bonds and that want to use them for the clout. You know what I mean? They want to be
Yeah,
able to get
yeah.
on the show and have their podunk bail bonds
yeah,
or whatever.
that's kinda like-
it's
yeah,
like kind of
yeah.
a marketing thing. But this is why New York's actually going to hell in the handbasket.
You ever met him?
Of course, yeah. I got pictures of Dog and his wife. They're nutso. They're just chained, smoking cigarettes. And
Wife's
the re-
just so mint.
She passed
too.
away,
So
well, she
hot.
died. She died. Yeah,
Oh,
but the reason
still sexy.
she was so hot
What
with
a
that.
loss.
She had
Oh,
that.
her on the South Park.
That
Small
midsection
casket.
But the reason why he had to use bear mace is because he's a felon. He was in trouble for
He murdered somebody,
He
didn't he?
murdered somebody. So that's why, like in his
Was that his story that he's like, and I rejuvenated myself, and
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm.
and now I'm
a comeback kid?
But yeah, so
Now-
he can't have a gun.
And that's why he always talks to the people. He's like, man, I was in your same position one day, going to federal prison. Like your life will be okay. You can turn it around. Just chain smoking cigarettes.
I am bringing you in, but yeah.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Why bail bonds?
What if I just change it now? How about if I just change my life around now? He's like, no, you're gonna do the time, but
We're gonna take you to jail first, and then you figure it out. But my point is, they're gonna say the Alex Stein rule, and my dad and the bail bonds, they have the Rhett Stein rule because he would give like a lot of the jailers.
His name's Red? That's
Rhett,
so te-
Rhett,
oh,
Rhett,
Rhett. I think it's
Rhett, like
Red.
Gone with the Wind.
he's the guy from Lincoln Red on YouTube.
Yeah.
But and they have the Rhett Stein rule because he would always give like people gifts, like jailers gifts and stuff to get inside information. So it's funny. They probably are going to have an Alex Stein rule because my dad has a Rhett Stein rule. But to talk about all this, bail bonds, they're outlawing them in New York and LA.
I don't know if they have that in Canada.
They
At
don't.
all.
Well, they don't have it anymore
Because we don't have like we don't have that like we have a bail system for sure.
It's
but I don't
government
think
subsidized. But
I don't
this
think
is-
it's similar where you have to like put up because how does it work? You put up 10%.
Yeah, I put up the 10%.
So someone
but I'm
goes.
responsible
So someone
for the full
basically goes,
amount.
"I'm committed with a crime." They go to the judge. The judge goes, "We're gonna like remand you until your trial for a year or whatever, however long." But your
could take up to 3
but your
years.
bond is $100,000, and then you lend
charge
them.
10%, and then usually we try to get collateral. So we'll try to get collateral up to
And
like
so
$100,000.
you put up the $100,000.
Yes, we give them a cashier's check.
And then in exchange, you want 10% back.
Yes,
And so that's why dogs always chasing them down because they're running away from like these huge sums of money.
But the reason why it's bad that they don't have it in New York, they got it because they say it's racist because a lot of poor people can't afford it. But the same form you sign for a public defender now in New York, you can get an ROR bond. So if you got arrested, Ryan, they would make you pay your bond. But if you say you're indigent or you're super poor, you don't have to.
and they give you Mets tickets.
Yes, basically they let you out of jail. And the reason why that's a big deal is because the cops can't arrest you and then rearrest you for not going to court on your original crime.
Yeah.
So you don't have guys like Dog the Bounty Hunter fining you. So that's why the
You know
criminals.
what I'm actually worried
So
about?
Dog can't make money here.
No, he
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
And
I got a ticket in Hollywood, Florida for walking a dog on the boardwalk, and then
What?
Yeah, it's illegal in Hollywood, Florida, and I got it. And then the guy who gave it to me, I said I was Canadian. He goes, "Oh, just give me your license. Like, I'll give you the ticket. You don't have to pay it." But I've seen so many episodes of Cops, and I'm just like, sure, I have a warrant. In
you
Hollywood,
definitely
Florida.
have a warrant. Yeah, you definitely have a
So
warrant.
I'm like, dude, I was just there. I'm like, fuck, if I ever like I'm driving through Hollywood, get pulled over, I'm like, and it's a Friday night, I'm like, I'm spending the weekend in jail there.
Yeah, I
for,
mean,
like,
you
this
can
$50
get it
dog
handled. You ought
ticket.
to freaking call
I
them.
called them, and they never called me back.
You might be okay. I mean, that is a small thing. But, dude, they'll take you in for a misdemeanor warrant.
Didn't you also? You said you were also on the. You worked on the show Cheaters.
Oh,
as well.
dude, I worked on the show Cheaters for 10 years, and so I signed an NDA, so I can only say so much, but I'll talk about it because you guys can, use your brain and figure out how the
okay,
show
so
works.
to me that
were
was
you there when Joey Greco got stabbed?
Well,
yeah. This was the
that-
best show.
It was really good, and now it's trash. And the reason why it's funny,
I don't watch it now. He's still kicking.
well, no, Joey's not the host. So let me, God, we have to get so sad. The host was this guy that ended up replacing Joey Greco, Clark Gable, and his grandfather was Clark Gable from Gone with the Wind.
Okay.
And this guy was a badass. I'm telling you, he had like a tolerance for drugs that I'd never seen, right? He was just a wild party animal. And he bought some pills that had fentanyl in it. Thought he was like taking Vicodin, and literally woke up dead. Took the pills, went to bed, and never woke up. And then the reason why I started my channel is so sad. Like 3 months after that, the guy that owns a production company is like, Alex, you've worked here like 10 years. You're going to be the next host. And then right when the pandemic started, we're going to film again. They decided to hire like this 52-year-old guy named Peter Guns, who's actually from New York. It's like this like black DJ guy.
Yeah, I've heard of Peter Guns.
Yeah. And so they were like thinking that I would still work there, and I was like, man, F this. And that's when I created my own channel, and I'm just so thankful that it happened. And this is
But were you there when Joey Greco got stabbed?
No, that was right before me. But I got to do this stupid. I hate Dan Bilzerian. He's so annoying, except for that meme where he's like, "Good top-notch pussy." But on the Joe Rogan podcast, he said the proverb about the Chinese farmer, and it goes like this. So let me tell you. So this Chinese farmer, his horse ran away, and everybody in the town was like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry that your horse ran away. That's terrible." And the Chinese farmer's like, "Maybe." Then the next day, 7 wild horses come back with his horse, and the town's like, "Oh, that's so good. Aren't you so happy you got all these horses?" And the Chinese farmer's like, "Maybe." And then his son is tending to the horses the next day, and one of the horse tramples on the son's legs, and he's like disabled. And they're like, "Oh, that's so bad. Your family's disabled." And the Chinese farmer goes, "Maybe." And then the next day, the conscription service comes to draft his son into the war, and his legs are mangled, so he doesn't go to war. And he says, "Maybe." That's
like
good.
you never know.
You never know until you have the perspective. So that's kind of like the cheaters thing. I was so bummed out. I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be the host." And now I'm not.
I didn't know where that was going.
Yeah, I'm saying
you go that thing is like your son doesn't have to get work because he's like a host. Is like me when I lost my internship at Cheaters.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, but now I'm here with you guys.
Well, I didn't know we were getting the romantic story.
Yeah,
here.
you guys, I'm all romance. Dude,
I
I'm
finished
prime time
Cheaters.
99.
I realized I sat at home and I go, "This is the worst day of my life." But then someone said, "Have you heard of YouTube.com?" And I said, "YouTube?"
And the entire time I found out I was just cheating on myself.
And then they're doing a town hall meeting, and I walked in. They said, "Hey, someone canceled Alex Stein." My name wasn't Alex Stein at the time, but there's an Alex Stein that canceled, and I walked in and took his place.
Yeah, he's like, I walked in because I got a parking ticket unfairly that I was trying to fight.
And I just started rapping.
Well, dude, in the rapping, I actually went to the meetings. If you guys don't know the little backstory, like I went to the
No,
meeting.
I want to know about Cheaters.
Okay.
What can you say because of the NDA?
Okay, but the Cheaters, one of the best episodes we ever did is these two people, like, the hotel room where there would be like a bathtub next to the bed, like a honeymoon type suite? We filled it up with like 200 packets of ramen noodles. You can Google it, Cheaters ramen noodles. Just so when we walked in, the two people were having sex in a big like bowl of soup, basically. And when they got out, they were butt naked, all these wet ramen noodles.
Wait, so the person must have been in on it though, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
So,
I can't say anything on that.
Okay, let me back up. So you go into the hotel room, and there's all these ramen noodles in the tub, right?
Yes.
But why would the people cheating
get in there?
Because they have a sexual. That's what they're.
Yeah, but the person has to be in on it. If you go to a hotel,
I can't say. I can't say whether they were
in
on it. I can't say.
I think we're learning that reality TV isn't real. Right?
Even Cheaters.
Well, it's the most real TV you'll ever see.
I mean, it's so funny because we have so many friends who work in reality TV, and like this is like the story from all of them.
Shut up. You shut your fucking mouth.
It's all real. Bad Girls Club is real.
Ryan's been on reality TV shows.
You shut
How
up.
many?
Well, it was a sort of real. I don't know. It's sort of real when I was on it.
Which show?
I was on some like reality show in Canada. There was like a competition show, but like
Big Brother. I was too. I was on Glass House, and I was the villain. It was a copy of Big Brother, and I got kicked off like the second episode because I was too mean.
Yeah,
we all lived
the
in
reality show, like the Kardashians and all that's like fake. But I didn't know. I know Jerry Springer's like pretty fake because I know people that've been on it. But like Cheaters, I did think that they were busting people cheating.
Well, we do bust people,
but sometimes you just don't have a good the episodes.
But why would you? Okay, here's the thing: you have to fake it afterwards, right? So a lot of times you'd be like, okay, that didn't work. Let's like kind of redo the beginning. But the person that just got like booked cheating would be like, no.
Yeah.
But again, like, hey, do you mind if we get a better like entrance of it?
But like, what scenario are you getting booked cheating, and then they're like, hey, we need you to sign this release, and you go, yeah, it's fine.
No, they blur the faces out a lot.
Yeah, but
you guys haven't even seen the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons we blur the faces out. But
I wouldn't know.
Well, the best is sometimes the guy gets booked cheating, and then the girl goes, "You cheated on me," and then the guy goes, "Yeah, I like this one better anyway. Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, that happens a lot. But see, the reason why Cheaters
it's a huge move for the dudes.
The reason why it's filmed in Dallas too is because like if you try to do that in New York or LA, they have like film commissions. You can't just run into a nail salon and film like you need a permit to film. In Dallas, it's wide open. In the first year, this is a real case, 100% real. A guy called in, said, "My wife is cheating on me." The private detective followed the wife. She started banging this cop in his police car. He was like a sheriff, a Dallas police sheriff. They sued cheaters and they lost. And so after that, the Dallas police were so chill. We could do whatever we wanted.
Wow.
I mean, we walked in anywhere. Like, if we ever got grief, it was from, like, Fort Worth. It was from the small towns. But, dude, Dallas PD, they saw our vans roll up. Because that was the thing. The whole shtick is, like, the vans rolling up. So we'd always have to drive.
What do you mean they would? But I know you're, like, hypothetically saying that, like, you didn't get shit. So, but they know, like, oh, we got to stay away from these guys because they'll sue us?
No, because they know that we have the right to film. You know what I mean?
And they know that you'll keep winning the case.
Yes, and like they said, this one guy that was like a high up in the police force, he lost. The police union was the one that sued cheaters, and they lost.
Was that an episode of the?
That was one of the first seasons, yeah.
And they
tried to shut the operation down.
Yes, and
Well, that's a bad
failed.
look for the police
Yeah,
department.
yeah.
It was in a police car.
In a police car, yes, and he lost his
It is
job.
also sort of a funny thing, like a bunch of police officers standing there, like 9 guys, being like, "This show cheaters needs to be stopped." You know what I mean? The wife's like, "What's your big thing with cheaters?" You're like, I don't know.
I don't know. They don't have proper permits. That's the problem with cheaters.
Seriously, the permitting is like
Also, fucking if they call you, just like do not answer.
Yeah, because they do not have the permit for that either. So
They do not have the permit to call my wife. That's for fucking sure.
but it's trash TV.
Well, I actually saw an article recently, and it was like it was some girl that basically her husband died on a trip, and she's like, she was going to getting really mad and thinking he was cheating, and she was messaging all his friends and all this stuff, and then turns out he was dead. So that should be a lesson to any girl who thinks that any dude's out cheating, is that he's probably dead.
yeah, she's
So
just like calling his 50 missed calls. She's
Before
like,
you
and then
watch-
she's like, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm gonna fuck his friend.
Well, is there nothing more toxic than that jealousy? Like, let me check your cell phone. Are you cheating? Like that? If your relationship is that point, just
It's
break
bad.
up. Just like break up.
Have you ever seen the memes where it'll be the guy, like a guy getting out of a funeral casket, and it goes, when you're dead, but she starts going through your phone?
That's serious. So when you die, they will go through your phone. They'll use your dead finger to open it up. Yeah, but no, seriously, if your relationship's like that, where you got to check each other's phone, it's done. No, just end it.
Gonna take a quick second here to tell you about Keeps. Now, you want a full head of hair, full head. Anyone who's having trouble, maybe you're losing some follicles. Boop.
Happens. It's a high testosterone.
Yeah, and
problem.
not on some Jada Smith stuff, on some man stuff.
This is not the cure for alopecia.
Yeah, it's not the cure for alopecia. But if you want to, and you're a man, you're having some troubles, this is a prescription medication delivered at home. You have an online doctor consultation, so you don't have to go deal with, you don't have to go to the doctor and maybe Chris Rock's the doctor's office. Just, up to his old tricks.
This is awkward.
So this is why we've told a bunch of our friends about it. One of our buddies is on Keeps now, and he says he likes it. So it's a simple, affordable, stress-free way to keep your hair via convenient virtual doctor consultations and medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't have to leave your home. 24/7 care and support keeps a network of expert medical advisors, prescribers, and care specialists to support you in making your hair goals a reality, so they're not just leaving you out in the dust after they set you up. It's low cost, so that's the big thing with Keeps. It's cheaper than some of the other ones. Treatments start at just $10 a month. It offers a generic versions of the 2 FDA-approved medications to prevent hair loss. Treatment plans are affordable, typically half the cost of the pharmacy prices. Keeps has everything for your hair needs delivered straight to the door with discreet packaging and proven results. Remember, prevention is key. You don't want to let it fall out. Treatments take 4 to 6 months to see results. So you want to get on that now. When it comes to your hair, save more, spend less. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/boyscast to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/boyscast to get your first month free. Keeps.com/boyscast. Are you getting any of that conspiracy sniz right now?
Oh, dude, I'm knee deep in conspiracy pussy. It's too much, dude. I feel like I got chlamydia 6 times. You know what I mean? I'm taking,
Bill
Which is
Clinton
also
did
a
it.
conspiracy?
yeah, that's
It's all conspiracy style
Yeah.
sex talk. I'm gonna smash this pussy like Bill Clinton.
No, but the girls are reaching out. I mean, I'm sure you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
They've been reaching.
And listen, what
There
do I
he
do?
is.
And even some guys are reaching out. Please
Okay.
stop. Please stop. The guy sending me
Yeah.
dick pics. I do not want that.
Really?
I'm going to report that. Yeah.
Your own dick. You go, how'd you get this?
Well, dude, that make me laugh. But it's funny because that reminds me of a tweet where this girl's like, "I've become a dick pic detective because a guy sent her dick pics and it was 2 different dicks, so she didn't know what his dick was like, and that
Okay.
actually made her want to see his actual dick." So that's a trick.
So the trick. Oh, so you're saying if you're
a life hack.
Yeah,
life hack, send 2 dicks.
Yeah, one of your boys.
and then
Life hack, send
And the
2
worst case
dicks.
scenario, if she shuts down yours, you go, well, my friend's single.
Well, what if he turns out he's like, and at the end it's like, okay, so yours was the smaller one. Like,
I mean, it always is. Hot
yeah,
tip,
well-
it's always the worst one.
it's always the worst one. It's always the
So what? It's either you're sending a better dick or a worse dick. The worst dick is like, hey, here's my dick, and then like a crappier one. So she thinks yours is the crappier one. It's like, here's my dick and like a python.
Yeah.
And she goes, which one's yours? You go, ooh.
I can't wait for this python. And you go, not so fast.
Yeah, with the unsolicited dick pic though, that's a sexual perversion that not even.
So you've been getting the unsolicited.
I mean, I've been getting some unsolicited nipple pics.
Nice.
I mean, I'm
So he likes the nipple pics. So it's a one-way street with Alex Stein.
Alston's Tucker Carlson, or
Well, the Tucker Carlson was a boom. The thing is, these conservative girls are
I
not
forgot you did
sluts.
Tucker Carlson.
They don't want it. They don't want it. They're not as. that's
they're
a-
maybe not open.
They like to
man.
keep him too.
Yeah, they want to have the baby. No abortion. No, dude. I mean,
no
I wrap up
abortion.
anyway. But you
The
know what I
Tucker
mean?
hose.
Yeah.
Are you doing Tucker groupies?
Yeah, dude, I'm in the Tucker chat. I'm on the Tucker Facebook page. Like, hey, dude, sharing my
He's
picture.
doing TuckerCon next
Dude,
year.
That's
come
because he's
on.
trying to dress as like a
Yeah,
pure
dude,
hetero
I'm baby
girl.
Tucker.
Dude, he said on
I
Tucker, he
asked
goes,
him-
I'm baby Tucker.
And I said I want a DNA test, and I
That's
didn't,
funny.
and I didn't have enough time because the show is live. But he actually started off his career in Arkansas at the Post Gazette in Arkansas, and I was going to say my mom was a student in Little Rock 32 years ago when I was born, and I didn't get to get all that out. I just
that
asked for
would've
the
been
DNA.
fucking-
So when
Yeah.
you were, if you're
you would have got
smashing
the
a girl,
classic nervous laugh out of him. You know,
Yeah.
like that.
if you're smashing a girl, she's gonna be like, do the voice, and you're gonna be like, why are this happening? Are these liberals doing this?
Well, I mean,
It's a bit hypocritical.
Yeah, that's how you have to come in there. You go, oh.
but what's funny about Fox News is like Hannity.
You
sucks.
said that you're making noises, but I don't see any secretion. Is I the problem?
and he does that face. I can't really. do
That's
face.
that's how you do the
Yeah.
face when you come. Girls would love
That's
that.
the only
dude.
way they come is from this face. He's like,
So the Tucker groupies have been coming out of the woodwork.
oh yeah,
Okay.
dude. But they
Yeah.
all
They've
want to have a
done it.
baby. They all, they're all like, asking my credit score and stuff like that. It's not what you
That
want.
suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't know that they got. Oh, he's got
Gee.
good shoes underneath.
Yeah, he's got
got
the
some
quaff.
Cole
I would have
Haans.
expected running shoes under there.
Well, they kind of are. These are kind of hybrid shoes for the people. And usually when I stream, like a lot of these streamers, I'm butt naked from the bottom down. Like I have my balls on the chair. This is for comfort. Yes,
he's
dude,
for all the
full
Tucker
balls.
So does Tucker. I heard Tucker's
Yeah,
just wearing
Tucker's
tidy
totally-
whities.
Well, and we
Below
made
the
fun
desk.
of Brian Stelter. Have you guys seen the pictures of Brian Stelter during the whole pandemic? His wife. So I follow him on
Yeah,
every
I
social media.
masturbate to them.
Yeah, of course. I jack off to him all the time. But he's always like in shorts, underneath, which is I guess whatever. But seriously, look at
Sex
Brian
machine.
Stelter in shorts. I mean, he's the worst. He's like the fact that he's one of the top broadcasters at CNN just shows you that we live in like a clown world of talentless idiots.
So what's going on with Elon Musk? Basically, that's the big kind of this week is that Elon Musk is buying 9% of Twitter. Danny
Yeah.
says that he's saving the day. You're sort of a.
I don't know. Well, he
Think?
got a board seat yesterday.
Yeah, but you think he's going to save unless he
No, I'm
reinstates-
just saying that.
Unless
about
he,
it.
No,
unless he
no.
reinstates Trump and
Well, do you
He'll-
think
he'll
that?
do? It's not going to be a negative. He'll do some shit. And the funniest thing is the CEO and Jack Dorsey of Twitter. They tweeted yesterday. They go, "Yeah, we like welcome Elon," and like they were some tweet to be like, "Great
Yeah, I
to have him
saw.
on." You're like, "Yeah, you don't actually think that. You're just
No, of course not.
No.
I mean, Dorsey might, but the other
Dorsey
guy
might
doesn't.
'cause he's not involved
Dicey Moore-
really. He just has a
Dorsey's
board
new thing
seat.
is like I actually cared about his speech a lot or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I can't do anything. My hands are tied. Like, I wish I could bring it back to how it used to be. But the new guy is bad.
Guys, Twitter allows hardcore pornography. Yet, my video of me in a woman's bathing suit, they consider
Hardcore pornography.
But they considered that. Okay, you guys can troll me, but what I'm saying, they considered
Tucker.
they considered my thing sensitive content of me in a woman's bathing suit talking at the city council.
You've had a bunch of stuff Mark sensitive, haven't
Really?
you?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Like
have it?
sketches
Dude, it
and
kills
stuff.
it because it was at 1 million views and ended up getting
Yeah.
like another 500,000. But dude, it just killed it because you got to click on it to get the views. So it's
I
like,
know.
yeah, no.
It doesn't. You think that maybe it would do the opposite, where it'd be like this forbidden. fruit
No,
thing?
no, no,
No,
just-
but-
because it does. It
Or they just stop
People
showing.
don't
it.
No,
wanna-
you
people
stop
don't
when you
wanna click
scroll.
it.
It doesn't start.
Oh,
so
yeah,
most
right.
people like that's how you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
things.
You have
is
to
it
click
catches
it.
your eye
Yeah.
and someone
Yeah,
retweets.
yeah.
But yeah, you'd be surprised how much people like that. One tiny. You're like, yeah, you just have to press a button. Everyone's like, oh, I guess I won't see that.
Yeah, I
video.
guess I'll never watch this.
Well, dude, I mean, they really call it like clicks per minute or whatever their terminology is. Like, people just don't want to click, They don't want to freaking
Okay,
press the
so,
button.
I agree with sort of you where it's like, if he really meant business, he should have one day where it's like a wrestling Trump Trump, Alex Jones. One
Dude,
day,
that
like
would
at
be
Twitter
epic,
and
dude.
Twitter headquarters, like Elon Musk does a press conference. He has sort of a curtain, and then he goes, we have a few new features that we're adding to Twitter. And then you have like Trump, Donald
The
Trump,
Undertaker music just coming out. That would be epic.
Alex Jones. Welcome, Stefan Molyneux. Everyone give it up for a little feature that we're thinking about adding. It's just in the beta testing, but Kevin McGinnis. And then everyone
they actually are saying they tweeted yesterday, because you know how every April Fool's Twitter tweets we're releasing an edit button.
yeah.
Every single April Fool's they go, we're having an edit button. And then Elon Musk 2 days ago when he did his thing, he goes, should we add an edit button?
And he
spelled it
misspelled
wrong,
yes,
whatever.
yes.
But he goes, did a poll, should we do an edit button? And then yesterday Twitter came out and they go, it has nothing to do with the poll, but we are actually going to.
This is why we
release
shouldn't
an
do the edit
button.
button. This is why I'm anti-edit button, because when you retweet it, so you're
Well,
gonna,
that's their reason is you go, it gets a million retweets and then you change it to something
change it,
crazy.
yeah.
But it'll say, like, it'll have a huge warning, not the original
Yeah,
tweet.
but
on
I
it.
mean, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the tweet goes out, and it's always.
I think I'm against the edit button.
Yeah, I
as
am
well.
too, and I think-
that's as a guy that can't spell or anything.
Yeah, and notice when something goes viral, there's always a misspelling on it. There's always like the meme that goes viral. They always misspell like there or there. You know what I mean?
I misspelled 9 out of 10 words.
Yeah, I mean, I can't spell words. And dude, and the autocorrect is garbage too. I mean, so yeah, it's. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, he owns 9% of it right now.
Yeah, but apparently there's something where he can't own
Well, that's
more
what-
than 14%.
Okay, so some people were saying that that this is essentially this huge thing, and he's gonna like people are like, oh, Elon Musk is daddy right now.
He's based.
Yeah,
is what they
and then
say.
other people are saying that was the whole thing, is that he basically took a seat on the board, which means he's not allowed to own more than 14%.
Exactly.
Which means that. Essentially, he can't do what he says he's going to do, which is like come in and be like, "There's going to be some changes around here."
Yeah. Well, he can, as a board member, he can, he has more sway than he had before.
But there's a difference between sway and like, "Hey, we're cleaning house."
But he can also, as far as I understand, if he, after 6 months, he goes, you know what, fuck this. He goes, I'm leaving the board. I'm buying the company, and then
he can do that though.
dude.
Gotcha.
He has so much money, man. He bought.
Why didn't he just do it though? Like, what's the point of this board seat?
Well, because first off, he's buying the shares on the open market.
He's like, I'm sending a message right now.
He just goes and logs into his fucking E-Trade account
Yeah,
and drops $3 billion. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like he's just hitting buy like at the market. I don't know. So he wants to own a piece of it. I guess he thinks it's like important. And dude, the value he just adds just by being associated with it. I mean, I don't think he cares about the
it's up
money.
25%.
But as an investment, he's just like he just made tons of money.
I mean, I'm full blown addicted to Twitter, but it is the most toxic place in the world. I mean, we're talking about like toxic masculinity or whatever. That is seriously the most toxic place in the world is Twitter, just when it comes to content sharing, whatever you want to say. So, but have you seen the meme?
And most people aren't on it.
But have you seen? Yeah, most people aren't, just psychos like
regular
us.
people aren't
But have you seen the meme where he's going to buy it and then delete it? So what would your opinion?
He's not
be?
going to do
No,
that.
he's not
I
going
don't
to do
know.
that.
But would you think that would be effective though?
I like the
doing
Twitter employees who are like resigning over this. They go, I'm out, and you go, okay.
Well, I can understand if you are super, like maximum Hollywood, San Francisco type or whatever, and then you go, Elon Musk is your new boss, and he's got some changes. What are the changes?
He's like
more
not
Trump.
he's
Trump's
like-
back.
He's not your boss yet. He's not even close.
So what
the
is
thing?
he?
I don't even. He's a dude. There's venture capital firms like he's now number one. He made himself number one. But there's like companies that own 8% of Twitter. There's a few different ones. So they just
but
own the
there's people,
shares.
guys. There's people that are such clowns. They say, "Oh, the $9 gas price, $9 per gallon gas price is worth it, so we don't have to have President Trump's mean tweets." Like that's
I've seen people say that,
people say that. That's ridiculous, guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shannon Sharp said that, didn't he?
Shannon Sharp said he'd rather pay $20 a gallon of gas than have Trump president. Yet he makes $14 million a
They
year.
all
off
think
of-
that. Yeah, that's the like. I love just always these like millionaires fucking
Being like,
you
yeah,
know,
I'll pay
oh,
for it.
yeah, but you go again. Like I feel like everyone feels like that with their political views, where it's like, don't you think like most people right now would go, yeah, I'd pay an extra $300 a year for fucking my guy to win or
Yeah,
whatever,
of
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, duh. But still,
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
it just shows you he's like Shannon Sharp, Hall of Fame football player, went to Savannah State. He thinks he's like the normal guy, Joe Blow. He's not. He makes $14 million a year. He's
Yeah,
freaking.
CTE
He's in.
probably.
I know, definitely CTE. And he's probably got a huge dong. I don't know why I bring that up, but I'm just saying he should be
You
a
thought
little
about
more.
it before?
Well, I mean, he kind of has the BDE, Pete Davidson stuff, but I'm saying he should freaking be a normal person. Like even if that's how
Well,
he
he's not,
felt.
though. He makes
Well, I'm just
$14
saying,
million
even
a
if
year.
that's how he felt, he should at least act like he's,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to pay.
Well, he's like
$20 a
Mr.
guy.
Hot Take, so he'd be like, here's
Yeah,
another
but
one. Here's a little
he
chum for
sucks,
the
he
waters.
sucks.
Well, apparently, so another thing is that Elon Musk, that so Washington Post, they wrote an article being like, why this is where Elon Musk is cool. They basically wrote an article being like, Elon Musk and Twitter could actually be bad news for free speech, and and then Elon Musk tweeted underneath it, he was like, Washington Post is always good for a laugh.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, it's like it's fun to watch people do stuff like this.
There is a legitimate chance though where some other billionaire comes in. I've heard this take where it does make a
So
little sense. Someone else goes, oh, you know what? Like we have to buy this now because we can't let this fall into his
So it's a
hands.
great
the
business
other
decision.
way.
Yeah, now
Not
they're going to
even
buy it for
business-
way
dude,
more.
he's the richest man in the
He's
world.
saying
Yeah.
like
Can't
a
move the
fucking
needle at all
like a
for him.
Soros goes and buys one, and then another.
No, Bezos owns Washington Post. Like Bezos goes, you know what? Fuck this. I'm buying this shit, and they just have a bidding war. For
Yeah, but guys,
Twitter.
we were literally going into 1984 where AT&T, I mean, they'll put you on a no-fly list if you
Yeah.
have some mean tweets. I mean, and Danny and I were joking about it. Wells Fargo would be like, no, you can't bank here. I mean, that's literally
yeah,
because
like he
of
was
mean
saying
tweets.
like with InfoWars or whatever. Where you're
Yeah, like InfoWars, it's like, I don't even want to work there. I mean, I would work there, but they'll immediately kick me off YouTube. They'll literally close my
Right.
bank
yeah,
account.
he's like,
It's
oh, like you'll close his bank account.
That is crazy that you take a job at this place and they go all of a sudden now it's like, yeah, you can't buy stamps anymore.
Yeah, Alex is like, so should I send you my direct deposit info? And they go, no, that's not how that works. We don't have a bank.
You're no longer
what's
a
going to
customer
happen
here.
is you have to go to this address and there's 3 keys when you open up this key. Then there's going to be every month there's going to be a thumb drive with your Dogecoin. Yeah,
Oh,
that
man.
is crazy.
The future is so
But yeah,
screwed.
like imagine that, and then you have some big fucking Democrat guy buy one, and then Peter Thiel's like, well, maybe I'll buy. And then basically they all swap. Like Peter Thiel's like, I'll buy the Washington Post, and then like a Soros type's like, well, maybe I'll just buy Breitbart. And then they all just switch.
But the thing is, the Twitter's the only one that's really can be bought because of just like the size of it. Everything else is too big. So it's like Twitter is like a reasonable thing for these guys to buy, and it's so influential.
Well, how does Twitter make money? I mean, ads. I mean, but
Ads,
but
yeah.
you don't have years.
Dude,
I
I
always
pay
say they
$3
weren't-
a month
No,
for
and
Twitter.
the data.
I paid $3 a month now, but that's so cheap, dude. Compared
Yeah,
to so much
it's
stuff.
nothing.
so.
No, they make money on ads, and they're like notorious for being super bad with monetizing the platform. Like
Yeah,
every
that's what I
Probably
heard.
the worst one.
They are the worst one, dude. They
have wacky ideas too.
Before, like they IPO'd in 2013, I believe. So 9 years ago, they opened that day at $50 a share. Okay, today it's 50. It was closed yesterday.
Yeah,
at
it's
50.
never be
So if
there.
you bought
What?
it in 9 years, you didn't make. Not only did
I think
you
I've
not
lost money on Twitter
Yeah.
twice.
not
Wow.
only did you not make money, actually, they actually like expanded the share count, so you actually lost money.
Of course, yeah. So-
Whereas like if you bought Facebook or anything else, you're like gangbusters.
Well, they have the worst features, right? Well, think about how many times did they go like, okay, we're doing stories. Okay, we got rid of that. And then they have the new thing where you can pay a monthly fee for my like premium tweets.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking
The
about?
super follow.
Like,
yeah, that's so stupid.
You know,
I mean,
would you ever do a thing where you go, I tweet like one for the main and then like a special tweet for the
well, it's like
for extra
Patreon or
followers.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but for tweets, it's insane.
It's definitely insane. That's the whole point of Twitter is that random people can share your content. So by putting it behind a paywall just defeats. It's just.
And I imagine
it
that
defeats
if
the
you're
purpose.
behind, if you're super follows, like you can't be like, all right, this is where the wild shit goes down. Like they're still gonna be like, yeah, you
It would
Oh,
be
can't.
even
yeah.
worse.
Yeah, you still
Yeah.
can't do that. I guess if you're maybe in porn, that could be a like a OnlyFans alternative. Maybe?
I guess. I don't know. I mean,
I
it's all
guess,
so
yeah.
stupid.
Well, all the like, so Taylor Lorenz and those like Washington Post journalists
love
were
that.
kind of
Crying.
saying recently that they were basically doing this like press tour, being like, woe is journalists, and it's like. That's always my favorite.
Woe is
'cause-
journalism is my favorite.
It's it is the best because these people have essentially their business model is kind of like trying to out people and get people busted get them fired for getting normal
Doxing, they
citizens.
dox everybody's
people.
work.
Doxing.
Yeah, I mean that's what she does. Taylor Lorenz literally is a professional doxer of YouTube commentators. I mean,
Right.
she goes after the lowest hanging fruit, and she calls herself a journalist. Like anybody could do that. I mean, it's just bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
then she was like crying, like in tears, like it's so hard.
Yeah, so
and then
what
she turns off the replies on her tweets too because she's getting clowned.
Yeah, and she should. And that business model is like just inherently toxic, I guess. But so what? So you think that he's not going to save the day, and you think he is going to save the day?
I don't know about save the day, but like if save the day means there's no rules anymore and everybody gets to come back, probably not. But maybe eventually.
I was talking about this with Anomaly or whatever, but it's like it is. I do agree on the principle that you can't have someone banned for life. If there should be at least a maximum ban the same way that there's a maximum jail sentence.
And there needs to be some sort of formal appeal. Like there has to be.
Yeah, so you go.
You need if you're the first off, you can't like a setting like that you're just going to ban the president of the United States of
forever
America while they're the president.
Guys, that's absurd. You're kicking him off that platform forever. I mean, he's the president of the United States, so obviously it's some sort of rigged bullcrap. But when it comes to Twitter, when you think about it at the end of the day, it's a free-for-all. I mean, it has the porno, it has all that stuff. Why do they even have these rules? I'm just saying, it literally has porn on there. So how can they say words are more crazy than 6 guys gangbanging some Latina chick? It doesn't make sense.
Well, that's what the guy said. He goes, "I'm
that's specific, by the way."
very
Latina chick.
And that's
we know what he likes. Now.
Well, that's why I said porno. That's porno. Porn is one-on-one. Once you get in a gangbang, now it's a porno. Porno is the good shit. But that's what the guy that quit said. He goes, Elon Musk thinks this and this and this. Actually, the reason we have all these things is to protect people from bigots.
Yeah,
well, but do you think Twitter should, hold up? I mean, everybody says, a private corporation doesn't have to have free speech, but I think they should. I think they should be, they should follow the Constitution. I don't know. What is your opinion?
A lot of the people, the Defiant L's Twitter, and there's a lot of that right now, where the people who are like, yeah, it's a private corporation, and then people are like, now they're like, yeah, well, like they're basically taking the opposite stance of should a billionaire oligarch really be in charge of the towns? And you go, yeah.
Have you noticed before? But Danny, have you noticed there's a lot of conservatives now on there that are like, we hate cancel culture, and then they're all like, cancel Disney, cancel Disney, cancel Disney. So it's funny how it works.
Well, that's sort of I was going to ask you, I think you're kind of in the conservative circles where I was going to ask, it feels to me like the right now I was thinking almost on Twitter right now, basically it's liberals being like everyone's racist, sexist, and then conservatives being like everyone's a pedophile groomer, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where it's it feels like conservatives have lost their minds with all this, everyone's a groomer, right?
Dude,
and you're a conspiracy guy, so it's I'm sure you've called lots of people pedophiles, but this is different.
I mean, when you look at Pizzagate real quick, and you look at Bill Clinton flying on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 26 times without his Secret Service, and then you look at Hillary Clinton, obviously every time Bill Clinton got caught cheating, she went after the women. So it just kind of shows, they're not these high moral characters.
Yeah.
That's different, but that's the thing. They just go to, he's a pedophile groomer. But at the same time, dude, I've never seen this. When you guys were kids, did your teachers ever tell you what sexual orientation they were? I don't ever remember that being a thing.
So this is one, it's almost like this one.
I've been doing a joke about it, but I'm like, I didn't even know my teacher's name.
Yeah, I didn't know her personal life or his personal life.
I didn't literally know her first name.
I remember, I've been calling everyone gay as in protest. I've been going to actual schools and calling the teachers gay. I've been putting my, children's outfit on, sitting in the class and being, this teacher's gay.
Dude, I was just in Florida and I was hanging out with my niece. She's 7 years old.
Yeah,
and she literally, dude, it's like she is on the upper bound. She's on the upper groomer.
Guy takes a flight to Florida.
7-year-old
with a 7-year-old.
Okay.
But she's on the upper bound of that. They're saying we want to be able to the Don't Say Gays. We want to be able to teach sexual orientation to 5 to 8 year olds. So she's 7. She believes in the tooth fairy.
Yeah,
and you're supposed to be so there's
well, that helps when you show up and wearing the tooth fairy outfit, tutu and all.
Dude, well, but they gotta be there's all these there's 7, and you're what?
I gotta say this. I didn't take a gender studies class. I was in college. That's when I learned about intersex people, because that's the thing. There's a lot of people that are you're a transphobe.
Wait, you took gender studies?
Yeah, cool. I took one.
You took gender studies?
Good dog.
Looking for that tang.
Yeah, that was back with the dog.
I know why. I know what's going on when you see a dude. You see a dude taking gender studies. I know what's going on.
Yeah. What I'm saying
that was
is
the original fucking wolf in sheep's clothing.
Were you wearing the suit?
Yeah, no. I was wearing Adidas and a ripped polo.
No, he was wearing his I'm with her shirt.
I took one gender studies class.
Yeah, you did.
In that class, you learned about intersex people.
You filled up your cup so much you never had to go back.
Okay, what I'm saying is the reason why they have puberty blockers and hormone blockers is some people are born intersex with both like a penis and a vagina, and the doctor has like these parents have to make lifelong decisions like at birth. A lot of times they give them the reassignment surgery right there. So I get why all that stuff exists, but then letting a 9-year-old pick their sex, you don't even let them pick their dinner. That's a little
you
weird.
can imagine that like that's not. For me, I was kind of like some of this stuff where they go, oh, the teachers like, okay, listen, sometimes they post things where it's a teacher being like, I'm going to make your kids gay, whether nothing you can do. And then sometimes it'll be like the kid asks the teacher, like, are you gay? And it's like, what's the like, dude? If you're like 12, like 11, you probably know what a gay guy is. Like, there's gay people in the world. Like, what do you want me to
not
do?
for 11.
I just have a sketch idea. You need to do a classroom and be super straight. Like, now you need to be a teacher that's like trying to be like a super straight teacher. Make their kids all straight. That would be kind of funny.
I was actually thinking for you. I was like, actually made me laugh the idea of doing a town hall thing that the gender keeps changing during your speech.
Well, you mean so like I take it off and I have like a dress on?
Yeah, like you keep you like
the Hulk. You're like,
yeah,
dude, that would be fun. Or I could just change it one time.
Yeah,
I could just change it one
like
time.
you go, oh, my pronouns just changed, and you're like different every time.
I'm going to do that.
Or
Something like
remember
that,
the guy on Just for Laughs, and he was like the down the middle, half guy, half woman, the original non-binary guy.
Yeah, no,
and he would do like
that's
the
good.
profile thing, and then you turn and he's a woman.
Right.
You could do that.
But it is weird. These teachers.
Okay,
are
so
like,
yeah, tell you know better than me what's going on with the don't say gay. I feel like I know the like discourse, which seems like everyone's lost their mind, but I'm what's actually happening in your opinion?
Well, I mean, nowhere in the bill does it say you can't say gay.
Yeah,
And-
I know. I felt like that's not true.
And listen, like I don't even think you should be talking about sex with young children because
it's 4 to 8. Like,
Okay,
if you're-
so I
if
agree
I mean,
you're
you should have
9,
sexual education. Like, yeah, freshman in
But
high school,
what-
14. Yeah, maybe you
But like
talk about
I
it.
had
But
the first. I went to like when did you have? You went to public school. I went to like this Jewish.
okay, so
private
I
school.
agree so far.
Yeah, but like when was your first year of sex ed?
For me?
Yeah, like your
Well,
first
I had like
introduction to-
private classes in phys ed in my grade kindergarten. Is
With
it-
a teacher.
Yeah, I thought we all did.
Yeah.
We would do like one-on-ones,
Just one-on-one
after
counseling.
class. It was like the
The
you know how they
touching
have
game. We played the touching game.
The
He
touching
touched
game.
me, and then I touch him. Yeah, I remember playing that game a lot. with my
Yeah, and that was
priest.
it was by the big tree.
Yeah, by
yeah,
the tree.
in the woods.
Yeah,
no,
and you were sworn to secrecy.
but seriously, it's like I don't want to be. They're all groomers. But you look at like those libs of TikTok. You look at those.
But here's a perfect example. Okay, so again, I'm not like as you can imagine, I don't think I'm the guy that's like quick to be fucking make a I don't know what the right words are. Like I feel like I make a fair judgment
you're
or
not
whatever.
snap
But
judging.
Libs of TikTok do post things where I'll be like, yo, here's some teacher, and the teacher's saying crazy stuff. But then sometimes they'll post things where it's just like, oh, someone that's just like weird.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, look at this person with all these like piercings, and they're like, I'm a snake or whatever. And you go, yeah, that's like a weirdo.
Yeah, it's
but
just like a
you're allowed to be
circus.
think you're a snake if you want to think you're a snake.
Well, I'll just say this, guys. If you're going to public school, and this is the conspiracy castle, it's like all school is basically like indoctrination now. I mean, even whether it's college, it doesn't matter where you go. I mean, like you just walk. I was just walking by NYU or like the Tisch school, dude. Every single kid is like non-binary, and that's fine. That's creative. Like I actually would encourage people if you're to dress weird and be eccentric.
And
I
they're
like
not,
that.
yeah. And really, it's like most of the people that are like, I'm non-binary. It's like, yeah, either you're like a chick that's feminine, or you're a dude that,
You're a dude that's
you're a dude
feminine,
that's feminine,
or
or
a chick
you're a
that's
chick
masculine,
that's like,
yeah.
or not even masculine, a chick that just like dresses wacky.
Where's mom pants?
Yeah, which that's cool. Like I'm all about that. But like I said, giving like puberty blockers or hormone blockers, and,
Right.
like kids making lifelong
But
decisions.
that has nothing to do with that bill.
Well, no, but I'm just saying I think that's what the point of the bill is
Yeah.
so like they, can stop more kids. Because dude, this is why.
Well, but you can still
well,
get,
in
like-
the gay community,
Yeah.
this is the thing. If you talk to anybody, I've got lots of gay friends, I'm sure you do too. The amount of people that have done gender reassignment or transitioning now in the 2000s compared to like the 80s and 90s,
Oh.
dude, it's up like literally like 1,000,000%.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure it was
so that's
so
something.
fringe
There's
and,
something. Yeah, I mean, it was so weird. So now, I mean, it's good. I want to be socially acceptable. Listen, if you're gay, straight, I don't care. But at the end of the day, there is some sort of like outside influences that are encouraging people to do this. And I think in Florida, they're just trying to be like,
Well, that's anything.
ultra.
There's like a social contagion
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I think you're right. But like, so the main thing that, like, if you take the actual bill, it's that don't say gay. If the actual bill is like, hey, we're not going to talk about sex, period.
You could call it the "Don't Say Straight" bill too. I mean,
that's what typical is.
yeah.
But you're not talking about that stuff to kids between the age of 4 and 8.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, we don't talk about this. It's like the whole
Look,
thing
guys,
is
think about
4
how
and 8.
much
But what if?
attention.
Okay, so then let's say, what if a kid goes to a teacher and he's like, hey, are you gay?
life in prison.
And then you're supposed
no.
I don't know. I guess, yeah. I
And
guess.
you go, well, why else would my cock be in your mouth?
But guys, you don't see how stupid this is that the media is pumping this up. It's all bullshit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
literally like, even if it gets passed, it doesn't get passed. It's all just to like
I'll
literally divide
just
us
say,
and make us fight over some stupid and
But that's what I'm
thing.
saying. I
Yeah.
just see the pump up both ways because I'm like,
Yes.
every day it was like, look at this teacher's a pedophile, and it was like,
I mean,
he's
well,
just
I'll say
gay.
this: when I was 7, if I went to an adult and said, "Are you gay?" They'd be like, "It's none of your fucking business."
Exactly. That's how it should
like,
be.
Yo, what do you like?
Yes.
None of your
Yeah,
business,
but okay,
kid.
sure. But if you went out to your teacher and said, "Hey, do you have a husband?" and she could say it's none of your business, but she could also say like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So if you teach, if you go,
I-
I don't think it's that like
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of the realm of possibility that some kid's gonna go up to a teacher and be like, "Hey, do you have a husband?" and she goes, "No, I'm actually I don't know,
what?
whatever."
Yeah, but Ryan, I want to say
I
this.
It's just
think-
like it's not obvious that it's
I find it hard to believe that in that scenario specifically, where a kid goes, "Do you have like that person's being like, yeah, I'm going to jail now." That
No,
teacher. like
of
that-
course.
nothing's
Yeah,
coming of
But
that.
but I mean, it might be posted. I don't know. I mean, it might be
like really, someone's gonna be like, "My teacher told my 7-year-old."
That's what I've been seeing on Twitter
Yeah,
lately.
that's what
I feel like they're like, look at this fucking groomer.
Well, that's what the left is saying too. They're like, if I say gay, I'm going to jail for life, which that's not true either.
everybody on the right,
Right.
everybody on the right is like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna teach them like how to be transgender," and you're like, "I don't think that's what that." Like,
Well, I got to say this. When I
like,
was in
that's what they're worried about, but I don't think that's happening.
When I was in fourth grade, one of my teachers also, she had a side job. She worked as a waitress at a restaurant. I remember one time we just went there and not knowing it. And I liked the restaurant. My mom, we never went back.
Is it
We didn't-
shocking?
Well, no, it's not shocking, but I'm saying we didn't want to see that part of our teacher's life. We didn't want to see her because she's my teacher. You know, we
It's
should.
weird to see it,
I'm just
though.
saying you shouldn't be in your teacher's personal business. I just
Yeah.
think there should be some sort of separation of church and state, separation of teacher's personal life and teaching. Like, I guess
Yeah.
that's crazy, but I am a psychopath. So
No,
that's
see,
all right.
I
Yo, if that's
agree.
crazy, then I
Teachers-
guess call me fucking loco, bro.
Teaching was the one thing where you always just like, yeah, you're like, I don't know, you're my teacher, and that's it.
I remember we saw our one teacher smoking outside, and it was really funny. We caught him smoking, and it is very back in the day when you see your teacher doing anything outside of teaching.
You hear
I
a
remember,
teacher swear accidentally because they lose it.
Swear.
You're like, what?
We knew our one teacher was an
happened?
alcoholic. There's one teacher, even the littlest things that are so weird. So I was in like kind of suburby area, right? And then basically one of the teachers, grown man, we knew he didn't drive, and he had the art teacher used to drive him home every day. And even that was like so weird. This guy had to wait around for the other teacher to finish.
Yeah,
to
you
come-
see him
That
get in the
is
car.
weird.
Something so weird about knowing
That's
anything
what I'm saying.
about your teacher.
Seeing my teacher as a waitress was weird. It's not a bad thing. It was just,
you know,
a
it's
fish out of
weird.
water. It was
Yeah,
just
it's like
weird.
you have
Weird.
this image of them as
Yeah.
like almost like, you know, this. I don't know. I don't
They're
say
like, you know-
godlike, but they're like in this realm of. I don't know, like when you're 7.
Yeah, so there is teachers that, you know, you'll see the videos where a teacher will be like, I came out of, you know, the closet to my kids today and I'm so happy. And it was just like, do you really need your validation from your like 1-year-old?
Yeah,
son?
Or dude, the little bit of
Exactly.
TikTok where they're like, "Oh, my teacher or my students call me the right pronoun," and it's like, I get it, but I mean, we shouldn't be celebrating that. Like, it shouldn't be worthy of a post on Twitter. Like, "Oh my God, they called me Zim," or "They called me Sir,"
Well, it's
or
also,
whatever.
it kind of is that thing about like, yeah, it would be this equivalent of like, you know, here's the thing. I keep thinking the other way and it's not the same because I'm like, I'm going back and forth on this where I go, if a teacher was like, oh, I just, you know, I'm getting married and I told my kids about it and they all like, you know, cheered or whatever, like that doesn't seem crazy.
No.
So, but what
I'm
if
just
someone
saying
said,
that
no, but
never
no one would,
happened.
what do you mean?
When I was 7,
I don't think it's
teachers
that
never-
crazy for a teacher to be like, hey, I'm going to be taking a week off because I'm getting married and all the teacher, but if
You
a
get
teacher,
4 months off in the summer. Do it then.
Yeah,
okay,
you got a fair
sure.
point.
You're all talking like hypothetical, but like, what if that actually happened? I think no one would have a problem. But what if a
Yeah.
teacher said, "Hey, I'm going to be away next week because I'm getting gay married"? Like, are you not allowed to say that?
See, I think you should be able to say, like, you know, you're getting married to a man or a man. I mean, I don't think that's
Well, that's
that big
it.
a
Can
deal.
you
you?
just say I'm
That's
getting
what I'm.
married?
I think
That's
you
what I need to
can.
get to the bottom of.
I
Can
think
you say
can
that?
say that. It's talking about. I think the bill just specifically talks about the instruction.
You don't want to tell them about the
teaching-
wedding night.
Well, no, exactly. You don't want to tell them that. You know, you guys.
So this is a cock ring.
You,
Yeah.
you can't come back after the wedding, like walking funny, like, oh, where do I start?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
Michael
so,
Scott when he came back
I
from
seen-
Jamaica with the beads. You know, you're like, sore, your butthole
So
sore.
I guess y'all notice I'm walking funny. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, sit down, everybody.
Oh,
So is
man.
that kind of what it is? They're like, you are allowed to do that, or you're
I think that's the hysterical case of saying like, you know, it's the very.
Well, I'm saying, what's in
getting-
the bill? That's what I'm actually
I don't-
asking. I'm
It
not
doesn't
reading
say
these things.
don't say gay, but it just says you're not supposed to have sexual orientation instruction from the ages 4 to 8.
Instruction, but you
Yeah.
can talk about their own.
I believe so. I don't think you're going to go to jail if you said, "Oh, I'm getting my."
No, I don't think any of it's jail.
Yeah, you go.
Fired,
yeah,
right?
a guy goes, "My husband," or something like.
If a dude goes, "My husband," like, "Hey, listen, last night I was
my husband
at the movies with my gay husband."
Brokeback Mountain.
But like honestly, from another standpoint
movie.
of like when you're saying the pronoun stuff, you go like a 7-year-old got my pronouns right. Like if you're the parents, like what a nightmare where that kid comes
Such a nightmare.
because they don't really get it.
The pronouns
now
stuff,
it's
you
like,
go, yeah.
And now the parents are like, yeah, I have to deal with, like, you deal with this for an hour a day.
But the gay stuff's
But the
not
worst thing is the
crazy.
pronouns all about virtue signaling. Like, I call into New York City Hall meetings all the time. And dude, in the New York City Hall, I swear, and you guys, I can't believe I haven't seen some of them. And I like yell and scream about stuff. But you like have to have him, her, or she, he, whatever. You have to have your pronoun. So that's all a virtue signal.
Well, for me, it is interesting you say that because, it's like we live in fucking New York. I came from Toronto, like everyone, a million people that have that stuff. But if I'm hiring someone, whenever I'm thinking about working with someone, if they have their pronouns, I always am a little like skeptical because it's almost like the pronoun thing is they pledged like allegiance to like because this person doesn't even think it, but they go, okay, but they pledged allegiance to it. So I know that if there was any controversy, what side you're on.
Yeah.
Because you go,
dude.
imagine
it's
some
a literal dog whistle.
Imagine it's a dog whistle. Because imagine Twitter got mad at me. Let's say I signed with like an agent or whatever that had that, right? And then Twitter was mad at me. Well, I know what's like which side they'll like pander to or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because they did that. So it is an interesting.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's just signifying what team you're on.
Yeah.
Right.
Is I'm on
And
the team.
you're trying to virtue signal, but to who? I mean, seriously, like no.
To everybody else on your team.
I guess.
So
but
I've
remember-
avoided
it's
sponsors
like
and stuff like that.
It's like a signal.
that.
Really,
You say,
yeah.
hey,
Lots of
everybody,
times.
we're on this team. I'm on this team. It's like
Unless
a
they
political
were
thing.
gay. Like if it was like a trans person,
Yeah,
and it was she, and then that would be like, I wouldn't avoid them necessarily because I'd be like, oh, they actually like that makes sense for them to have pronouns because I can't tell.
Well, see, and I don't ever want to be transphobic. Like, I actually encourage people, if you, like you said, if you want to change your sex as an adult, go ahead. Like, do it. And I think
Preferable.
I mean, I actually like it better because you leave some pussy for the rest of us. But what I'm saying is, and that's like the one situation, yes, you need to have your pronouns if you're non-binary. That makes
But
sense.
when you see some dude with a beard,
in a suit, like the mayor of Mesquite, Texas, has his pronouns, and
Dude,
it's
my
like,
friend
we know
works-
you're a man, Daniel Alameda, or whatever her name
Dude,
is.
my
Like,
friend works at like a fucking like major, or he actually just quit, but he worked at one of the top 5 banks in Canada, like one of the biggest banks in the world. And he never followed this stuff. And he was like, all of a sudden people were having their like pronouns in their like email signature, and he didn't even know what it was. Like he was so late. He's not on social media or nothing. And we were just joking because like eventually he's like, yeah, eventually I'm gonna I'm gonna be the only guy who doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Like it's one of
You
those things
should
where
be
you
the
go,
only guy that
it's just
doesn't.
like people start doing it, and then it reaches a point where
Exactly.
you're like, what? So I'm gonna be the minority
Yeah, but
of
guys-
people who are like not doing this.
But that's why comedy is dead. That's why you guys are so successful at making sketches, because you're not politically correct. I mean, you guys aren't even that politically incorrect. But I'm saying, like, it's just now there's such a void because people are trying to follow the leader. People are just trying to fit in, and that's why that's the problem with our culture right now. It's like, oh, I'm going to put it in because everybody else is doing it. No, do your own shit. Be a lone wolf. That's there's such a void in comedy now. That's why you guys are successful, because you guys are filling that void. When you have companies like SNL that's supposed to be the top comedians, no, because they're all about virtue signaling and putting the pronouns in your bio of comedy.
Yeah.
So
they're like the corporate mainstream.
yeah, they're corporate. Yeah.
So that's why
And
it
again,
sucks.
if you're
Nobody
a
likes
corporation,
that.
that's just like path of least resistance is to do that.
I'm going to take a quick second here to tell you about FitBod. There's never been a better time for you to get in shape, get jacked, but between balancing work, family, life in general, it can be hard to make fitness a priority, so you need a program that works for you, not against you. FitBod's innovative algorithm learns about your goals and training abilities and crafts a personalized training regimen that's unique for you. So that's why I like it, is because you can put all your information in, it knows what you've done before, and if you're on the road or if you're out of town, it can actually, it can give you exercises based on what you have. And 2, the cool thing is it can give you exercises that change, the plans change and stuff like that, so you don't get bored, and it knows what muscles to work. So start the year off right. Fitness isn't about comparing yourself to others. It's about working to become a better than you were yesterday. FitBod's algorithm uses data to create an adjusted dynamic fitness plan just for you, and you'll have access to personalized routine on their easy-to-use mobile app, so you can start making progress on goals anytime, anywhere. So I recommend you give it a try, whether you exercise exercise 3 days a week or twice a day, every workout is scientifically proven to be better than the last. Fitbod even tracks your muscle recovery, balancing your workout plan with a variety of exercises to avoid overworking certain muscles. It integrates with your Apple Watch, smartwatch, and apps like the Apple Health, Fitbit, and Strava. So personalized fitness training can be tough on a budget, but Fitbod's only $12.99 a month, or you can do the yearly $79.99 a year. So kick off the new year right and get started with a customized fitness plan from Fitbod. Get 25% off a membership when you sign up now at fitbod.me/boyscast. That's 25% off your membership at fitbod.me/boyscast. Well, I'll tell you, I found this article that was the other way. I know I was sort of, but then there's the other ones where there's this article of this person that I feel like this would get Tucker Carlson. For the real Tucker Carlson would not be happy if you heard this article. He goes, I'm trying to raise my kids homosexual and I never even have to say gay. So it's this woman that's being like, why do we raise our kids? You know, and she basically says that, you know how we be like, oh, he's going to be a little lady killer. So she has her like son and she's like, oh, he's going to be a little ass fucking killer. This guy's going to bum so many dudes.
It's so weird. It's on Yahoo Sports.
Yeah. And what's
This is on Yahoo Sports.
Yeah, well, sports are a big
so
part
there
of our
are
culture.
out there the other way around where she's like, you know, you girl, you go, oh, she's gonna eat so much bugs, dude.
Dude, I mean, that's weird, dude. That is weird when you want to make your kid have a sexual orientation, you know, unorganically.
Well, she's
That's
like, we'll
weird.
make this the base level because we'll normalize this, and you go, okay, but it's not the base level. It's like 1 in 30 people.
Yeah, well, and that's why whenever there's a trans kid, I forget which comedian said this joke. I read it on Twitter though. But having a trans kid is like having a vegan cat. You know who's making that
Sam
decision.
Morril, I think.
Yeah, somebody. I forget. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
know,
Sam.
you know the parent is making that decision. It's
course.
not the kid. You know what I mean? And that's the same with like the gay thing. It's like the fact that you want to engineer your son to be a homosexual.
Yeah, like when they're
I mean,
like 5 or something.
That's a
Well,
little
they're sort of
much.
saying like, well, why is the base level straight? And you just like, really, you don't
just
know?
it is.
It kind of reminds me of the thing I was saying where he's like, I remember a few years ago saying to someone like, oh, the person sounded like a gay guy or whatever, right? And they go like, what is that? What do you mean? And you sound like, and you go, are you mental?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
Curb Your
You don't know
Enthusiasm
what a
had
gay
a-
guy sounds like?
But Ryan, Curb Your Enthusiasm had a great episode where, you know, he gave the kid a sewing kit because he knew the kid was gay.
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
parents
yeah.
like, why would you do that?
And you know, yeah, exactly. You go, what are you? I gotta. It's
But
like
yeah,
that
he's
thing
trying
where
to be supportive. You know, Larry David was like trying to lean in, you know, be a supportive to
Yeah.
the gay kid, and the parents like, what? So yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's like you're racist if you do, you're racist if you're racist if you don't. It's really
and you're
weird.
a groomer if you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so then Danny sent the thing the other way that there's like some GOP like bill.
This is in Tennessee, yeah.
In Tennessee,
this is
basically.
yesterday.
Yeah, so basically there's in Tennessee, they're saying they're going to do this alternative to marriage where you could get married with this certificate instead of being right?
I'm kind of anti-marriage.
Well, the Tennessee bill wanted to eliminate age requirements for marriage.
Well, but that's
that's
not
weird.
what happened. What happened was there's a different way you can get married that's not through like the state or whatever.
Yeah, not through
but
the-
it
See,
still
that sounds
counts.
good.
But apparently they forgot to leave off that. They left off that pesky age
They left off
requirement.
the age, which then I learned that California has absolutely no marriage.
Oh, of course they do.
There's
so like
no
a
age
50-year-old
groomers.
can marry a 12-year-old.
Okay, so the rule in California, there are hundreds of thousands, in the last 20 years, there have been hundreds of thousands of 12-year-olds in America married. Okay?
Yeah, I saw that
could
too.
not fucking believe that. And I
What?
went,
Yeah.
I
Who are they
went-
married to though? Like, is
So
this like
they're-
some weird religion or
So
something?
Yeah, it has
it's
to
probably
be.
a religious
Mormon
thing.
or
They
weird
have to be
thing.
pregnant. So that's the rule, basically. They have to have parental consent.
Are they
and-
marry older people or?
and be pregnant. Yeah. What,
Yeah,
you
they're
think a
not marrying
12-year-old
another
girl's marrying a
12-year-old.
9-year-old
No,
boy?
I'm thinking if they're both under 18,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
there's
yeah,
some
yeah.
like
I'm sure there's
like
a-
I understand like
That probably happens, but that's not.
no, but if you go, hey, these two 14-year-olds that got married and they were both 14, it's a little different from this 12-year-old married like a 80-year-old.
yes,
Yeah, that's what's happening.
yes to that. That is a case where it's like maybe a 16-year-old marrying a 12-year-old.
Okay.
Because they're super traditional or whatever. And but there are 12-year-olds as long as the parents give consent. In a lot of instances, like in not every state, most states are not this case, but in California, you're like technically, I guess, in any, I don't know, it's for any age.
Well, that's the problem with libertarianism. I'm sure you guys have a lot of friends that are libertarians, and they're like basically almost like anarchists. They don't want any rules, and for them, they don't want age of consent laws. So that's kind of it's weird. A lot of
Well,
people
wouldn't
don't
their
want that.
argument to be okay? So I feel like if you said,
Well, their argument would be if there's grass on the field,
Play ball.
I think their argument would be like, well, it'd be up to the community to decide what
Yeah.
that. I mean, you
I
go.
imagine
There's
they're
no,
like,
there's no
you know,
such thing as marriage. So it's like if there's no such thing as marriage, like people can make their own contracts, but pedophilia would still be illegal based on their whatever laws of the community, right?
I guess, but then
Wouldn't that kind of be the argument?
But then you'd have to ask, what is the number? Like, what is considered pedophilia?
Yeah,
12,
yeah.
13,
Well,
14?
it says right here,
then
90
that's like
Well, that'd be every community, which they already do have, right? There's different age of consent laws. You were naming them off before the show started.
New York 17, California 12 or whatever.
It's a tricky party trick you do. No, sorry, I misspoke here. There's 90% of them are between 16 and 17, but there is a rule if there are 12-year-olds who are getting married.
Weird.
In America. Which is fucking crazy. Even if a
in
12-year-old,
America,
dude, even if a
yeah.
12-year-old's marrying an 18-year-old, where you go, okay, they're both under. You're still.
But how is that
that's
not illegal though? You can't have sex with them
Because
when you go to jail.
Well,
You can't
because
have sex when you're married.
The parent, yes.
What?
Yeah, so you get married, you can't have sex with them
marriage.
You can have sex with a 12-year-old
if
if
you're
you're
married,
married to them.
that kind of like removes that thing.
Dude,
and then
R.
as long as
Kelly
the
did this. He like married
as long as the
Aaliyah or whatever.
parent-
Yo, these are all groomers. That's how it starts. The next thing you know,
R. Kelly was a groomer,
Yeah.
dude. He like
Oh,
peed on
why didn't he
12-year-old
marry
kids.
them?
Well, he should
tried to
have.
marry
One of them, I think,
Oh,
Aaliyah.
yeah,
he married
it.
Aaliyah when she was like 13.
Yeah.
That was this loophole.
So you
where
can
as long
bang
as
her.
you get the parental consent, then you can marry them.
Yes,
Or whatever.
so-
And so I guess that's the thing. But the thing with the groomers is all these people calling groomers, they go on this, they go, yeah, I don't know. They're kind of silent on this one, which is odd.
Not everybody's a child groomer, but there probably are.
Most
some
people are not child
Well, and then
groomers.
you guys from Canada, you know. But Drake was sending all those messages to Millie Bobby Brown. That's kind of weird when she was.
But
like,
he says they're
underage.
friends. I don't know.
He's kind of grooming her to fuck when she's 18. I mean, maybe
But
not.
I saw them. I don't remember them being like.
Sometimes the grooming doesn't work. You try to
sexual.
groom and they're not interested. I mean, it's not always. It's not 100% success
Yeah,
rate.
sometimes we've failed.
my
groomings.
theory is that the same way that the liberals figured out they can call people racist and it's effective. I think that conservatives
Yeah.
think that calling people groomers is effective.
It's their Nazi. It's like the mask.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
is.
reason
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
think that, like, I don't even believe that people saying it believe it as much as I think that they think that, like, oh, I think we're onto something here.
Yeah, I think they saw a lot of people being like, we're not fucking groomer. Like they got really took it offensive and they go, all right, we hit a nerve here.
That's exactly what they did. It's
follow
just, you
this.
know, it's just effective. People are like, oh, I'm not a groomer, but, you know, I want to teach my kids all about sex. And, you know, there's that Libs of TikTok video where, like, we're not allowed to have
This
gay
guy loves
flags.
Libs of TikTok.
It's my favorite account. Everybody, they're like,
Yeah.
we're not allowed to have gay flags. And he has, like, gay suspenders, gay socks, and he has, like, a gay bow tie, you know,
Okay.
because he can wear it, but he can't have it in his room. So, yeah, I mean, there is some grooming. There is some sort of weird stuff going on. But as the right says, like, no, it's not as prevalent as they say. And not everybody's a Nazi, like the left says. There's a really gray area.
And then there's the Venn diagram overlap of the Nazi groomers. Those are
that's
a
exists.
Well, I
Those
would
people
say
are
it's
fucked up.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, not everyone. I would even go more like it's like, yeah, very few people
It's
are
almost
Nazis
no
and
one.
very few
It's
people.
almost no one
for
for
both.
for both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I don't think I've ever met anyone that's like, you know, trying to bang a 12-year-old.
No, not openly. I don't know anybody like that. I mean, I wouldn't.
Actually,
be
we
friends
did
with
know that one comic that was like getting the child porn.
Yeah, in Toronto.
Well, Anthony Cumia does love young chicks. Speaking of somebody we do know, but-
Not
Yeah,
12.
but
No, not
he likes
12.
in there,
I'm not calling
30,
that.
He like 25 or 30.
I didn't think he like 17 to 18, but I think that's
This guy's going to compound right
Yeah,
after
I know.
this.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, Anthony, I think went to a girl's prom at 17. I mean, that's kind of young. I would, dude. I might.
You
I'm
just
not.
say it to his face in 5
I will.
minutes.
I will. I'll say just say.
Yo,
but I'm saying
this
I'm
is
not
gonna
a-
be.
I-
We're
I
gonna
think
follow.
he's not even
Boyscast is
there.
gonna follow Alex over to compound for the
Yeah,
bus.
we're gonna
Cheetah
get
style.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm gonna get a
We're gonna
selfie,
hop out
Ethan
of the
Ralph
fucking
style.
Boyscast, man.
Dude, I want it for the clout and for the internet content to get beat up by Anthony Cumia. But, well, gosh, now I forget my point. But regardless, it happens. You guys are
That's what
Not
I like to do.
everybody's- not
I like to.
everybody's groomer.
We like to have people on the boys, guys, and then derail them. You were saying
Yeah.
something about Anthony Cumia.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying he's not necessarily a groomer, but like on a dating app, like I wouldn't even put a girl under 21. You know, I mean, I don't even.
And
drink
you wouldn't
really.
probably kiss unless you're married.
Well, I mean, but I'll fuck. I just won't kiss because that's passionate. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, there is a mental maturity of somebody you want to date that's like, you know, similar to your level. You don't want to
Yeah.
date like children, even if they're of age. You know.
Well, but yeah, I think that like when you say 18 or whatever, like whatever the thing is, I mean, that's an adult. And I think that you're probably right that you don't want to date someone. I mean, I don't want to date someone that's 20 years old.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're a groomer for wanting to bang someone.
No,
that's 20
exactly.
years
Definitely
old.
not. You're not, because I want to bang a 20-year-old. Definitely. You know what I mean? I have. But I'm just saying that's not illegal. but I don't even want to date that person because they're not even the same.
It's
We're
different
not. We're
life.
just
Different
wavelengths.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
you're gonna be like Tuesday night, be like, oh, something. And they'll be like, dude, we're going to this freaking club and blah blah blah. And
Snorting coke all night or whatever.
Yeah, and also,
Oh, you got to bring
my
a 20-year-old
teacher-
to the bowling thing?
Dude, having your teacher like tell you about their college professor is such an asshole. Yeah, listen to this nonsense.
Yeah, that's funny.
Them
yeah.
going through every new phase, you know.
And
what
you
I mean?
feel weird if you have like a girlfriend, you're like in your 30s, and your girlfriend's like, yeah, I can't come out, I have to study for an exam. And you're like, all right.
You guys are giving me the Michael Scott vibes, you know, when he lied about going to college. He's like, yeah, we partied with our professor every night, you know, because like, you know, in every college movie, you're always like getting shit-faced with your professor, but that's not how it ever is, you know.
It's funny. I had one cool teacher in high school who he was probably like when I was in 10th grade, he was 25 probably, but in hindsight you don't even realize he's like, you think he's older, but he was probably like 25 years old. He was new, and then like there were like two of them actually, and then you just turns out they all were just like banging all the 18-year-old students. Like you find out after the fact that
we had a football coach that was banging a teacher, and we also had this teacher Matt Malcolm who was like so cool that like, who was the one teacher in when I was in high school, we like took the lunch and went to find out like he was the biggest pothead, you know, stoner
course,
ever.
yeah,
But we had no idea then.
at the time, because they get fired.
So I just did this show in Nashville with Danny, and then this girl in the crowd, she said that in New Jersey she went to a school and two of the girl teachers ended up were banging male students, and two different ones got fired for that.
Well, dude, if you go on Daily,
That's how much of legends dudes in New Jersey are.
yeah, but I read Daily Mail every day. I'm telling you, it's more prevalent of the women teachers sleeping with the boys.
I think it's because the women teachers low key are like, I could probably get away with this. Whereas I think a dude being like, let me bang like an 11-year-old, he's like, yo, I am rolling a dice.
You know what's actually
Yes.
crazy is I had my English teacher in high school, in like probably I think 12th grade. She like, it was known that she had sex with a student, and I don't think that student was 18, because with the guys that I was talking about, those girls were 18. Like they were 18 at the time, because we had 5 years of high school.
Some states have a law though, even if they're 18, if they're a student,
If they're a
it's
student,
illegal.
yeah. And no, it's pretty
that-
sure.
but they-
if
but
that's
back
the
then
case-
they might not have had that law.
It was the case then. That's why it was like super low key. I just found this out because my friend was friends with one of these girls, and then you found out after the fact. But at least they were like 18 or whatever, right?
Sometimes the guys will get married to them
this,
after.
yeah, but this woman definitely was still a teacher, and everybody was like, yeah, she had sex with a kid like 10 years ago, like, and like got in a lot of trouble for it, but then like was allowed back.
She probably should have got a different profession, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, what are you gonna do? She was a great teacher.
She was actually not a bad teacher.
I think she's
She's a career teacher. Yeah.
Find out everything that we could do a
Did you try to bang her?
synopsis of her and then get more of her. I go, what's your thing? It's like, dude, I think that every female teacher, it should essentially be, school for men should essentially be history and tug.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, online, it's a lot of women teachers sleeping with their male students. That's like,
well, because
crazy.
if you're a dude, you're like, yeah, I'm basically branded as a pedophile sex offender who's for sure going to jail, life completely ruined. Whereas like
Chick,
your life
you're a
is,
MILF.
if you're a chick, you're like, your life's not ruined. Yeah, you might go to jail. You might like maybe go to jail for 6 months.
But then you'll get a job 10 years later teaching
Dude, imagine
Danny.
you're the chick and you have to go introduce yourself to your neighbors as the sex offender, and they go, yeah, whatever.
What
Like,
you-
what are you
yeah,
doing
banged
later?
a
What are you
dude.
doing later? Like, I don't know. Nice to meet you.
Well, do you guys see the stories where it's like a mom slept with her son's friends? That's real prevalent too, where, you know, it's
Yeah.
like mom got gangbanged by, you know, kids.
sure all
in
that
the
shit
It's a
Yeah.
sensitive topic for him.
Sorry, Danny. I didn't mean to bring that up.
So I know you gotta hear in like 15 minutes, but the what do you think? So Louis CK
Wins a Grammy.
The comedian just won the Grammy,
Good for her.
and the number one take immediately was obviously like, I guess that means no cancel culture. Oh, I thought you thought cancel culture was real. Well, look at him winning Grammys, right? And Louis C.K., I think it was good karma for telling me that he liked my sketches. That's
Yep.
why he won.
That is why I won.
But obviously, the answer is, and I've been arguing with this people in real life a little bit too, where they go, obviously he's making a comeback or whatever, and I go, he released a comedy special on his website through his email list. Before that, it was the biggest Netflix special, and he was a movie star.
Yeah, he was a movie star, TV star. He fucking was playing, like, remember when we saw him, or I don't know if you were, but like I saw him right after his like first tour back in Toronto, and he's like, yeah, last time I was here, you were there. He's like, I played where the Raptors played, and now I'm playing in this basement. And then not only that, but like people are like, "Well, you want a Grammy?" You're like, "What does the Grammy do for him?"
Well, I just don't think what he did was that bad. He asked the girls to crank it before he did it. I mean, I know he's like sexually perverted, but
the only thing that he did that I think was questionable was when he was the writer for like the Chris Rock show, and you're like, because you're at work at that point, like you're actually like not like at a comedy show where those girls are like, "Well, we're at work," and you're like, "No, you're not." Like you're hanging around a comedy show, and you're like an open mic comedian. You're not at work.
Yeah, partying after things.
You're partying
in a hotel room.
Yeah, or whatever. After you're not at work, and if you go up to a hotel room with a guy like by yourself or whatever, like I don't know what you think is happening. Whereas like he was at the Chris Rock show, head writer, and like you're like, okay, you're like at work.
What did he do at the Chris Rock show? He did the same thing. He jacked
kind of like
well,
he was like kind of like he's kind of similar thing.
Well, this is hard,
and he's the head writer, and people are like really like there is a hierarchy.
So all of that though, do you think?
But he did nothing criminal. Like people comparing him to Will Smith, you're like, yeah, first because they're like Will Smith had to step down from the Oscar committee or whatever. You're like Will Smith committed battery. Like, he didn't do anything illegal.
Losing it like who votes for
fake,
Grammys? Like how exactly does that work? Right?
They have
There's a committee, right?
Yeah, and they're all white people.
But who's that committee for the Grammys? Like if you break it down, like who was it that? How did this happen? First of all, you know.
Well, they have their I don't know.
Whatever. There's like minimum requirements is submit your content. He submitted it.
That's what you've. I've been like submitted for things or whatever, and we've been. You could have been on the the committee for awards things in Canada.
Yeah.
So basically, is it that? People that are, I was thinking maybe the people that are on the committees for these sort of things, it's like maybe like comedy club owners or people in comedy. So maybe that's why. Like they're not
probably people who work at like labels, maybe like. But more importantly, what does a Grammy do for him? Is he going to sell one more ticket?
No,
nothing.
The Grammys
it's a fucking
fake
here you go.
Too. I mean, people do win them, but it's like
also every second rapper has like 13 beat his wife or whatever.
But like Grammys, once upon a time, you go, I want a Grammy. You go, yeah, I'm a national touring headliner now or whatever. Like that is a big deal. But like a Grammy for Louis CK doesn't do anything other than give him one award to
and give him like some flack online.
Yeah, but it's like everybody's acting like cancel culture doesn't exist. His career just got this. Like he's not selling more tickets.
He didn't give a speech either.
He did. Did they? I think they give the comedy album. I don't think they do that on the main award show.
That's how low comedy.
Well, this is why all those award shows are such bullcrap. It's like the self-congratulatory, part of it. It's literally they cut off the Golden Globes because they had no black people in their voting and their whatever the jury, whatever you call it. And so they to battle racism, they shut it down for 1 year. But it's also because they had no ratings. And you look at the Academy Awards, nobody's watching that. And then of course they do that stupid slap. Everybody watches it. So it's like I'm sick of this self-congratulatory crap. Even the Grammys, they're just giving people awards that are already mega stars. It's just bullcrap. Yeah. It's just meaningless. It's pointless.
I mean, it wasn't always
love giving themselves awards.
Love it.
Second only to advertising.
The advertisers love to give each other awards.
That's half of being an advertisement is patting yourself on the back for your work.
For tricking people into buying some razor.
Well, that's
shaming them.
Well, that's the other conspiracy, guys. The problem is the world today is we're being run by multinational corporations that all have marketing campaigns by putting like the gay flag for Pride Month or like the black square, for George Floyd. These companies don't care about America. As a matter of fact, they want to like destabilize America in order to get better rates or get cheaper labor in other countries. So that's the problem. Is these marketing campaigns that's really what our culture is becoming.
So when you say like the multinational corporations want
Pfizer, Halliburton, Apple.
Do you believe that these companies like want to destabilize, or do you feel like they go, yeah, that's what you do to market now? You go, listen, you hire some marketing company and they're like, yeah, the gay pride thing's what you do now.
Exactly. But I'm saying that the company will do whatever they can to get legislation. Like if you and I try to get something passed, we could never do it.
What's the kind of legislation they get?
But like imagine, like look at Pfizer. The reason why Pfizer can, why they pump up the vaccine so much is because it's going to be, Pfizer sells that vaccine all across the world. So they say to the politicians, like, oh, well, we're going to be able to donate all this money to your political action committee because this pumps up America's economy because we sell this vaccine literally all over the world.
And there's no, I guess, lobby like the other way, right? It's kind of like a one-way lobby.
There's no nationalism lobby where like keep America great or something.
Isn't there?
I mean, there might be, but they're not as powerful as the one. Dude, Apple, look at Apple. They want Chinese labor as cheap as possible in China, and they even have suicide nets at their factories. Did you know that?
Foxconn.
So what I'm saying is, do you think a company is actually handling their employees better there? No, because they don't have the same law.
They got rid of the nets, so now they
can work them to death. So why don't you? Well, if they cared about us, why wouldn't they have employees in America paying them?
Well,
to
because
make
your
iPhones?
iPhone's going to cost $4,000.
Exactly, but see, that's bullcrap. What I'm saying is,
But it would cost $4,000, and then Americans would be like, I'd rather rather the Chinese people.
Yeah, but they
the nets.
say that. But I'm saying they're the biggest company in the world. If they can't produce a product in America and make it affordable, that's the issue, guys.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, that's
the globalization.
Exactly. So why? That's what's happening right now.
But the other side of that coin is that everybody's new iPhone costs 3 to 4 times as much, and you go, okay, like people will be like, yeah, I don't like that.
It's the
And
same
then
as
you go,
I'll
okay,
pay
well,
$20 gas prices not to have Trump. I mean,
Well, if you're like, I always get when the climate people, they're like, the gas is high. And it's like, isn't that what you wanted? I don't know.
yeah,
Isn't
but
that
speaking of
kind
the
of
climate,
goal?
see, the climate stuff's bullcrap too, because you look at freaking all these
I don't
politicians.
even believe the climate. There is a climate.
Well, just look,
I'm a climate
look at Barack
denier.
Obama. look at Bill Gates. Just bought a $35 million house, in San Diego, like literally 6 feet from the water. Yet he's the biggest guy that says if the sea level rises 2 inches, his house is going to be underwater. And then you look at Barack Obama bought a house in Martha's Vineyard on an island.
Yeah,
So-
but what you don't know about Bill Gates' house is that it has rockets on the bottom of it, and literally presses a button and it just fucking flies away.
And like Disney or whatever, they go, wasn't it the same time they were like, yo, we're not going to work in Florida because of this stuff. And then they're like, yeah, we're opening like Disney Saudi Arabia. Or whatever. It was like the same. It was like the same week or something.
Well, and they talk about the Don't Say Gay bill, like they're all tripping out about it, yet they're going and expanding in countries where you're not even allowed to legally be
But
gay.
that's what I mean. They basically
they throw
like,
you off a roof if you're
here
gay.
they make Little Mermaid like black, and there they make Little Mermaid stoned for adultery.
Dude, in China, in Star Wars, John Boyega, they airbrush him off the poster.
Yeah, I
'Cause they
know.
didn't- So, I mean, these same companies will virtue signal all day long in America, but then in China, they virtue signal to them
Yeah,
because
well, they'll
all
be
they
like,
care
well,
about
it's
is
a
their
different
bottom
culture.
line.
But you think when you-
That's what they'll say. Oh, it's a different culture.
But, I mean, everyone's
that's a bullcrap.
Well,
dude.
you're right if they were to say like
It's called integrity. None of them have integrity. It's all about the bottom line.
Well, that's
making
for sure.
money.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's almost a truism to some
Yeah,
degree.
they're just they're corporations whose
guys, but that's
point
not good.
is
It's not
profits.
good that Pfizer is deciding all these stuff, getting legislation passed. It's not good that Halliburton, after a 20-year war in the Middle East that we did not win, that we lost, embarrassing people falling off planes, is jumping right into the World War III in Ukraine. You don't think they want that? You don't think
course
they
they
want to
do.
sell as many tanks?
So what's the solution?
Is not to be run by these corporations. We got to get some sort of separation of these political action committees. When you talk about like Lindsey Graham, they love campaign finance reform. I mean, they hate campaign finance reform. They want to be able to have willy-nilly all the money. But we got to really change the way we give money to
You gotta drain the
politicians.
swamp is what you're saying.
Well, I mean,
How do you do that?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know because people need money to run their campaigns, and once you get in as an elected official, you want to stay.
You can be a politician.
I am going to be a politician. I'm
You
going to run
could-
for
you
something,
could
and I'm going to
do-
be primetime 99. I am going to be a politician. I think I'm going to run for mayor November 2023 is in the election.
What mayor
For
of what?
mayor. What mayor of Dallas is? What
Oh,
I'm
dude,
probably
if
gonna-
you are the fucking mayor of Dallas, Texas,
That'd
that
be
would
insane.
be the shit.
Dude, it would be insane to talk about conspiracies. I'd go after NASA
Dude,
for
there's
the
a
moon
few
landing.
conspiracy people in the.
Yeah.
You know what'd be awesome though, because he said like at the city councils, it's like the mayor has to be there to listen, so you got to take.
Dude,
it.
I would be
And
encouraging
all
it,
these
dude.
guys are showing up doing your shtick
Well, okay.
to you because you're the mayor.
Danny,
now.
you say that, but I love that other people are doing my
And then
shtick.
you're and then
I
you're
want
fucking
an
like
army of
rapping on them.
people.
You won't love it when you're the mayor.
No, when I'm the mayor, I'm going to cheerlead it because I want people making up. They make a mockery of us. Like they literally, any politician, Ryan, it doesn't matter who they are, when they get elected, all of a
He
sudden.
does have the moves for politicians.
Oh,
where
I
he's-
got it
Dude,
all.
here's
He's got
the
the fucking-
He goes, and here's the thing, Daniel. Like
no,
that's a
he's-
big politician.
got it.
as you
I
sort
got
of
the
say their
politician.
name.
I was student council vice president. So I was born for this. I know it.
Oh, dude,
backwards and
he's got
forwards.
politician vibes. You
So
can do
let
it.
me just say this though: when these politicians get in office, all of a sudden they think that we work for them. That's not the case. These are elected servants. Literally, they're supposed to serve us. None of them do. And like the mayor, sometimes the city council meetings, if you don't call him like Mayor Johnson, they should call him Eric. Like I saw one guy that called him Eric, and another councilman was like, "That's Mayor Johnson to you." It's like, no, it's not. You can call him whatever you want. We elected him. Shut up. You know,
Yeah.
these people have these self-importance. It's like just like the Academy Awards or just like the Grammys. It's all self-congratulatory bullcrap. They're in some club that we're not, so they think they're better than us.
Nice. And what if you are elected mayor of Dallas, Texas? What are you gonna do?
No.
By the
First
way,
thing,
though,
no kill
it is
shelters.
funny though. Okay, I
Curtis
get it.
Sliwa.
When, it's sort of funny going back and forth between like the CEO of Apple thinks he's like you're nothing, he's better than you, and then the other one's like the council person in like some 400 person town in Florida thinks that you're fucking nothing. Like,
Seriously.
some of them are fucking. They can't. If you're like some low level official in like some buttfuck nowhere town, do these guys even have egos?
Yeah, dude, the smaller the
Because
talent, the bigger the ego. Dude, yeah.
They're the head honcho.
Dude, and some council members are really cool. They come up to me, they recognize, they're like, hey, don't, our mics are kind of bad. Like, speak away from it. Like, because they want it, they think it's going to be funny. But the majority.
They know?
Yes, dude. Some now recognize me because, dude, of course, these city council members are like, look at this viral video of this guy going crazy at a city council meeting. So, of course, it gets shared.
So some of them like you.
Yeah, some of them do, a very small percent, but some of them hate it, It's just how it is. Because some people have a sense of humor, but most people in this day and age don't have a sense of humor anymore.
Yeah.
They're just so politically correct. So
no one likes being trolled ever. I mean, I've been doing like this kind of stuff for a long time, and I've been like, they sued us and all this stuff, and I'll tell you, no one, like, very few people do you go, hey, we were just messing with your like company for the last fucking hour for our funny video, and they go,
you got us, yeah.
Scam.
Nobody likes that, yeah. But I'm just saying, when these
So what's your
politicians.
platform as mayor of Dallas, Texas?
Well, and this is a page out of Curtis Lewa's book. The first thing is no kill shelters whatsoever.
What's a kill shelter?
Any animal, we're going to rescue every single animal, unless they have to be euthanized because they're injured or
and
they're
all the cats are all going to your house.
All the cats are coming to the mayor's mansion in the backyard, and then obviously
taxes too high? What are taxes like?
Taxes are way too high,
Dallas?
guys.
So
Yes,
taxes are
come
going
on, we
down.
got to go. Taxes got to go down. And I mean, honestly, when it comes to like the city of Dallas, the mayor like kind of virtue signaled and they shut down the strip clubs from 2 to 6 a.m. So
You're
we're
gonna
opening
open them
that back up.
to 6 a.m. strip
sex
clubs.
workers. And see, I want to decriminalize weed. And this is like the far out thing is like in Amsterdam they have a red light district. The problem is like a lot of our legislation, you can't even have fentanyl drug test strips because that's considered drug paraphernalia. So what I want is like in New York they have it's like clean use sites, but I actually want to have like a red light district where we decriminalize prostitution because that actually gets rid of a lot of the legal. Yeah, it gets rid of a lot of the legal sex trafficking because
It's also safer, a million times safer.
a million times
Yeah.
safer. You have them
Yeah.
tested, you have it regulated, and that's why because a pimp is more likely.
And you could probably way more. If you were going to be like a prostitute guy, you could pick the one and pick what you want beforehand because you know what I mean?
Instead of
like right
going
now
to
they can't have their like website and apps and stuff like
Yeah,
that where you
that's
go,
how
I'd like to show up like
the red light district
a
is.
rinse
Yes.
from 2 girls at the same time.
That'd be great,
this and
though.
that.
People-
one brunette, one this, and then it'd be like, $800, you pay it, and then you show up and you
It's
go,
a proper business.
You post, like the Uber no talking thing.
and I could argue that having the decriminalized prostitution would help marriages out because there's a lot of sexless marriages and stuff, and so maybe they still have a good financial relationship within the couple. They don't want to divorce, but this guy's miserable. So they can go on the side and get some side piece. I'm not encouraging cheating, but what I'm saying is people want to have sex regardless. People are going to have
That's a funny platform to be saying. Listen, I'm not encouraging cheating, but like,
and dude, the war on drugs we've lost the war on drugs. Drugs are winning the war.
drugs are over.
So we have to figure out a way to decriminalize it where people can use drugs safely. If somebody has an overdose, you can give them Narcan.
fentanyl thing is
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah,
Dude,
fentanyl
it
is-
is insane, and it's synthetic heroin, synthetic
Vancouver,
morphine.
Canada has been doing that. Like they had the first, probably 15 years ago, safe injection sites where you could literally like go
But see,
inject heroin with a nurse.
But that's like really dark. Like we need to make it a little less dark, like Amsterdam.
no, it
where
wasn't
it's more-
dark. It was like
It's not-
you go into like
No,
a
and-
nurse's office
exactly.
and they help you do heroin.
They have it here. It's like you kind of go into like a booth and like they will inject
Yeah.
you. But I'm saying we almost kind of make it tourist friendly too because we don't. And I'm not even pro like legalized gambling. That wouldn't be on my platform. I don't even really necessarily want.
They don't have
legalized-
gambling in,
They don't have gambling in Dallas. You got to go to Oklahoma or Louisiana. So I'm actually anti-gambling. And I really don't like gambling. But drugs and sex, I do think we should have it regulated. And that's why I'm not like this super conservative. Like I'm in the car business in my day job. And one thing about it, since I'm a licensed dealer, when I sell somebody a car, I have to either tell them like,
Wait, you still
still
work at
sell
a car
cars.
dealership?
Yeah, well, I have my dealer's license. I own it. So yeah, I'm in the wholesale business.
Do you own a car dealership?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the wholesale business. I buy and sell cars.
Are you a used cars dealer?
Yes, and listen to this. I know. Shut up. And my teacher, my football coach said,
fuck?
Yes, and my 8th grade football coach said, freshman year football coach said, Alex, if you don't pay attention, you're going to become a used car salesman. I did. So I don't like talking
But you're
about
doing your like podcast full time, making all these videos. Like you still do it. Like you have time to
Yeah, because
run your car dealership.
Because I sell all my cars at the auction. So I'll
How
give
many
you,
how many cars do you have?
I don't know. I mean, like at my lot, probably 4 or 5. I don't really like the retail business because then I have
So you
to,
have like some like weird
2
little patch of
employees.
land where you have 4 cars just sitting there.
Oh yeah, I got a couple patches of land.
Yo,
yeah.
that's so funny though. As running for mayor and being like, your story is he was like this YouTube prankster.
He made it,
used
dude.
car dealer.
Last
I
night
know,
on
I'm
the
a
Low Valley Mail,
stereotype.
someone called in to buy a truck.
Yeah, I know. The people buy a Sequoia. But see, it's never good to sell a friend a car or anything because like anything goes bad a year later, it makes you look bad just to make like $500 to $1,000. It's really not worth it. That's why I like the wholesale side. I sell it to a dealer, then I don't have to worry about it. But what I'm trying to say is, having a dealer's license, the reason why I'm not some super conservative like anti-government is when I sell somebody a car, I have to tell them as is with these issues, or I have to give them an inspection and make sure that the car is not a lemon. So that's good that so people don't get ripped off. So the government, it's just the government is a major malfunction. We're spending our whole budget is going to the military-industrial complex to go kill people for no reason. If we just reappropriated a small portion of that funds, we could basically take out the homeless. We could basically fix that, and
just
we could
get rid of them.
No, you can give them a place to live.
Well, dude,
there's another something like
that's
that.
what we're
Take
going to do
them
with
out.
those kill shelters that he's wants to close down.
There's a thing called the homeless industrial complex, and they actually pay homeless people to go stand outside, so the homeless problem looks worse, so they can get more financing from the federal government.
Homeless industrial complex.
That's the thing. There's an everything industrial complex with me. Military industrial complex, homeless industrial complex, pharmaceutical industrial complex. But these are huge industrial complexes.
LGBT industrial complex.
Yeah, I mean, that is one, basically. Okay. What I'm saying is, like, when we look at like the problems that we have in the world, we could fix them, but our government is idiotic. They're so dumb, and a lot of people suffer from cognitive dissonance. That's where, like, they know the government is bad, they know the government lies to us, but they just have this thing like, oh, they got our back, they have our best interest. The government doesn't have our best interest. They actually want to keep us totally controlled. They're a people management system.
Or they just don't give a shit one way or another.
They just don't give a shit. Yeah, I mean, but we could solve
like just
people's
not their
problems.
incentives. It's irrelevant to their incentive
and
structure.
Like, I'm not even anti-universal basic income, but at the same time, we can't just devalue the dollar. So we do need to help people. We do need social services to help people, but we shouldn't like tax us to death. We shouldn't. We're just it's a major malfunction. Or basically, our government is autistic. We need to take.
Did
back
Jerry Jones? Did he get that stadium for free?
Jerry Jones is an idiot. Listen, dude, I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, but I hate him now because I'm just so sick.
But did the city pay for that stadium?
Of course, it's just subsidizing through the taxes. But listen, Jerry Jones has a daughter that he got pregnant in 1996.
He got his own daughter pregnant?
No, I mean he got this a flight attendant pregnant, and then he gave her $3.5 million, and she ran out of the money, so she exposed him. And now that
is a bummer.
But I know. But listen to this. So he's worth $1.7 billion, and like you have all these boomers like, well, he still gave his daughter $3.5 million, yet his son and his other daughter, Charlotte Jones Anderson, they make $3.5 million a year working for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
so it's like if your dad was a billionaire and your whole life he gave you $3.5 million over 25 years, I would be pretty pissed too.
Isn't that the Schwarzenegger with the maid?
Yeah, it's exactly. But see, these guys are scumbags.
Can't complain with $3 million.
But over 30 years or 25 years, it's not that much. This is the thing. See, my dad has the same mindset. If your dad is Arnold Schwarzenegger and your other sons get to go to all the movie award shows and all the accoutrement that comes with that, you don't get any of it. You get shafted. There'd be no way.
Well, he didn't even grow up as Arnold Schwarzenegger as his dad, though, right?
I'm sure he knew his dad. He looked just like him, and his mom was a maid.
Was this an under the table like settlement? Or was this like government settlement?
Yes, and the reason it was under the table.
Well, listen. I can obviously also see someone being like, "Hey, I'll give you $3 million cash under the table. Just don't say anything." And then you're running out
part
and being
of it.
like, and then once you're through that, why wouldn't you just be like, "All right, we want more"?
Exactly.
Like, unless you, but if it's not a government order, like what? That's like a bad deal to make as the dude as well.
In the agreement, it says if you break it, you got to give the money back. But it's like now
they don't have the money.
Yeah, and then they have to go a big court case, and this is why
Jerry Jones has to sue this woman.
And this is
why
what happened. This is why
Jerry
Jones. And this is all happening now, and this is why he got caught out, because his attorney was talking about it, and his attorney described it as child support. And just some stupid broadcaster's like, well, if it's he won't admit that it's his daughter, and then some journalist is like,
I guess, right?
Yes, but of course he's the dad. And she like looks like him, and this and that. But
Jerry giving up that
but
DNA.
the lawyer, all these bigwig lawyers, he just got caught in a lie. They go, he's like, yeah, we're not even sure if it's his daughter, and they go, well, then why did you consider it child support payments? Like, why did you call it that?
Why'd you give it 3.5?
Yeah, and then they called it child support. They actually did that. So they're like, why would you call it child support? And he was like,
just in case.
He just didn't know how to answer that. Even the lawyer's like, no comment. Yeah. So Jerry Jones has $1.7 billion, and these guys have zero integrity. These are the guys like make all these decisions. He's in the Football Hall of Fame. Dude, if I had $1 billion and I got poor pregnant, I would take ownership of the baby. I'd say, that's my baby. Divorce me or don't divorce me. Because Jerry Jones, you look Google, there's pictures of him with strippers that like expose him. So his wife knows he's getting side pussy. I mean, shut up. I mean, just be a man about it, and I got this girl pregnant.
So if you're the mayor of Dallas, Texas, you win the mayoral race
exposing
in 2023.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones goes, congratulations, come to the owner's box.
I'm going to take out my cell phone in selfie mode and roast him, troll him like Eric Trump
your first day as mayor.
First day as mayor,
Jerry. Cowboys suck.
Dude, and I would have it horizontal, like get his facial expression, and it would get viral. And I'd be like, yeah. Well, that's the one thing too. When I talk to these meetings, that's what makes me feel good. Is now that my following's getting up, they get nervous because now I have way more followers than the mayor of all these towns. So it's like,
shit!
More followers.
How many
No, I know
followers
that.
does the mayor of Dallas, Texas?
Probably
have?
like 30,000 or something.
Ooh, you got more followers?
You know what I mean? So they're a little nervous. That makes them a little nervous, like because it's something that can go viral very quick, and they don't like to be embarrassed. That's the thing. Is I can be embarrassed all day long. I do goofy stuff, but I have an affable personality. None of these people do. They can't take a joke.
Oh, you got that politician veneer for sure. You can
Dude, I'm gonna win the race. I'm not just gonna run. I'm gonna win. And if I don't win, I'm gonna go and troll him through the whole campaign in the debates. I'm gonna be insane.
Dude,
I'm gonna do the trans swimmer. I'm gonna be like Leah Thomas. I'm gonna be, dude. You're gonna see shit you've never seen before when I run.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, this turned into quite the campaign trail stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've talked about this before. As a matter of fact, Current Revolt wrote a whole piece about it. So this isn't a new thing. Well, thank you, dude. Thank you all for having me.
Yeah, that was the best.
Like you said, if cheaters didn't not hire me, I wouldn't be here today. So God bless cheaters.
Dude, you owe it all to, what's that guy's name?
Joey Greco.
Joey Greco. What's he doing now? Do you guys keep in touch?
I'm Facebook friends with him. Yeah, he's okay. I think he was in a vampire, like a low budget vampire movie recently.
He's doing some weird stuff. That was his big break.
Oh, you're never topping.
Oh no, he's the pinnacle. It's all downhill from
that
there.
show and Steven Seagal Lawman were the two greatest reality shows
Oh,
ever
Steven
created.
Seagal Lawman was insane. Where he's like a Louisiana cop, Louisiana Sheriff's Department. No, that shows you about Louisiana. They'll just let anybody be a cop. I mean, I graduated from LSU. Seriously, it's like, I mean, right off the turnip truck, they'll hire you.
So follow you at Primetime Alex Stein.
Primetime Alex Stein. If you can't find me, you ain't looking, dog. So come on.
Come on.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, your shit's super fucking funny, so I'm glad to have you on. All right. This has been the Boyscast. Peace.
Later.
We gonna live forever.